Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis. Yeah, you're right. It's sold out. Right to the roof, right to the bag. 63,000 plus to see these great old rivals. And it seems like only yesterday the Vikings were an expansion team, and it was Van Brocklin, of course, before Bud Grant. But they've gone at it 50 times before. And by the way, on opening days, the Vikings have won 15, 9, and 1 tie. Hi, I'm Tom Brookshier, and you know, on this day when we used to think that the Bears were going to roll through the league, the Packers now, the Lions, and the Vikings think that maybe they are beatable because St. Louis did it in preseason. So the opening game in this division, the Central Division, very difficult and very important indeed. I'm Tom Brookshier. With me, the former Super Bowl coach with the Eagles and a great analyst, Dick Vermeil. Dick, Darryl Rogers' second year at the helm. They don't play well on the road. At least they didn't last year, but they beat some darn good teams in getting that 7-9 record, didn't they?
Darryl proved that he could coach a football team that could beat the good teams last year, with the exception of the Bears. But as you said, they weren't consistent, and they didn't win on the road. Now, if that football team can find a way to play without the motivation of the home crowd on the road, hey, they might be a contender.
All right, now the Lions could not stop the rush. In fact, they were really the worst in the league against the average per rush. Have they shored that up? Are they going to be better trying to stop people running?
Well, they've got a big new nose guard. English is gone. They have Big Williams in there at 285, big. 290 pounds or bigger. 2 new linebackers and Maxwell and Harrell inside. They think they can slow him down.
Now, an opening day streak of winning 15, 9, and 1, does that carry over between Bud Grant's regime to Jerry Burns's at all?
Well, it's more apt to carry over with Jerry Burns because Jerry Burns is not new to Minnesota. He's been here a number of years, passed over a number of times as a potential head coach, but a fine coach. The players are used to Jerry Burns. The coaching staff is used to Jerry Burns, and Jerry Burns is a winner.
You can see the new head coach, the same old guy we've known around here. This is Buster Rhymes, the great Oklahoma running back, who is going to be the run back artist and perhaps be used as a receiver and as a running back himself. There's Eddie Murray, one of the great kickers in the game. Sports Illustrated picked him as the kicker of the year in the NFL last year. Eddie Murray from down Cajun country, Tulane. We're almost ready to start this season. We hope you enjoy yourselves because I guarantee you, Dick Vermeil and I will up here. The Lions are kicking off. Buster Rhymes at the goal line. Good return. Rhymes out to the 32-yard line. Griffin makes the tackle, and here's the quarterback, Tommy Kramer. I said you're healthy, he said for once. And the defense facing Tommy Kramer for the Lions. Keith Ferguson will start at left end. Eric Williams, the giant man that Dick Vermeil talked about at the nose, and William Gay, a good pass rusher at right end. Jim Williams, Harrell in there with Maxwell, 2 good linebackers against the run. Kofer, McNorton, Watkins, Mitchell, and Demetrius Johnson. Devon Mitchell, of course, is the draft out of Iowa, starting as a rookie. First and 10 handoff goes to Anderson. Maybe a gain of a yard, but not much. The rest of that offense, and it's explosive. Kramer, Darren Nelson, boy, is he some player. Alfred Anderson, the man that just carried the ball. Little Leo Lewis, and a Hassan Jones is in there for Anthony Carter. Carter had his knee scoped this last week, and he's not going to be playing. Zimmerman, Huff, Swilly, Tausch, Tim Irwin, and Steve Jordan. The offensive line very much improved for the Vikings. The numbers on Kramer. A lot of interceptions, the most in the NFL, 26. Down 9, the pass, a lot of time. It's dumped off now. This is Jordan, the tight end, gets the ball to the original line of scrimmage, the 30. Harrell got out there and made a good tackle from the linebacker.
Yes, he did, showing better movement maybe than they had from that position last year. Steve Jordan is really a fine receiving tight end, and they say he's improving his blocking. They have to improve their running game, Tom.
But Jordan had 68 catches and no TDs. They've got to get him on the scoreboard, don't they?
Well, he said last year he was a blocker inside the 20 because their protection was so poor they needed him to stay in and block.
3rd down and 11. The shotgun comes out for the Vikings. Good defensive play by the linebacker Harrell, that last one. He's got time to throw it. He's got a receiver, and it's intercepted at the 40-yard line of Detroit. That's Bruce McNorton, who stayed under and came in and made the INT.
Tom, they were trying to go to the corner pattern to the wide receiver. Now, you'll notice the shotgun formation, giving him a lot of time. He's going to snap the ball back. There he goes. He's snapping her back there. There's a lot of time. Good protection. He floats that corner pattern out there. Now the zone receiver, number 29, playing the right corner, Bruce McNorton, picks that thing off.
McNorton's 12th career interception for Detroit, and he played it beautifully. 1st and 10 now. We'll set the Detroit lineup in just a moment. Inside Buck goes James Jones. Maybe the line of scrimmage, but not much more. Mark Mullaney made the tackle. You can see he's at right end. Doug Martin looks trim at left end. Newton, a 300-pounder, and Keith Millard at right tackle, a wild man inside. Chris Dolman, he's on the tight inside at linebacking. Scott Studwell in the middle, and David Howard, a fast-improving outside linebacker. Lee and Holt, Morrell, and Browner. Browner is really the only veteran in there starting. It's a young secondary. 2nd down 9. Misdirection, play-action pass. And Hipple is tackled by Millard, back on the 30.
You're going to notice the big guard here, Dorney, pull out to protect, but he did not see Millard, number 75, to the left side of your screen, come underneath. Now watch Millard show up behind the man. There he is. He didn't get in a position to get that inside-out block, and sack number 1 on the year.
He sat across from us yesterday when we were talking to him, and he filled the entire lobby over there, didn't he?
This guy really is. We get a chance to talk about this guy. There's a lot to say.
He said that he wants to play a lot of football. And of course, Floyd Peters has put in the down 4 linemen, and they got a big rush right away. 3rd down and 17. Hipple with time. Incomplete. Tried for Leonard Thompson and missed him. Almost had the ball picked off.
He did a nice job of reading the coverage and threw it to the single coverage man. He just missed him.
And so the Viking defense gets the sack. Last year they only averaged 2 a game. In preseason they've been averaging 4 a game. And it works. Here's Mike Black now. And Rufus Best back for the Vikings. Black can kick him very high. He'll get it up near that ceiling and try to get that 4.7 hang time if possible. Tanneur is the snapper for Detroit.
You know, they must have a lot of confidence in Rufus Best back there because to not put Darren Nelson back there, who I think is one of the best punt returners in football, you're sacrificing it, or have confidence in this guy.
This is a low kick and should be returned. It's going to bounce, though, on the carpet. And it's now taken by Best at the 20. And Best runs into trouble at the 25. A 48-yard punt, a 4-yard return, and both defenses have held. No score. Low-key but effective Darrell Rogers. 7 wins, 9 losses. Gosh, he beat the Super Bowl teams of the year before back-to-back, didn't he? Miami and San Francisco.
Also beat the Jets, another playoff football team.
He said he didn't change last year just to change, so this year he's looked at it and he's put a few wrinkles in now. He likes to go with quick counts and catch the other team's nickel package still on the field or not on the field on 3rd downs. Very inventive and very successful wherever he's been. Nelson and Anderson in the eye. 1st and 10 facing Kramer. The drive play. Darren Nelson bounces outside. 7 yards quickly. Devon Mitchell barely got him out of bounds.
All they have to do with Darren Nelson to be one of the class running backs in football, Tom, is give him the ball. That's all he has to do.
He's beat up too now. He's 190 pounds.
He stayed in town. He did a lot of weight training. And the guy, if they give him the ball another 60, 70 times, he'll be about a 1,200-yard rusher.
So it's just the number of carries.
You bet. With a guy like that.
And especially rushing the football, you know how important that is. Darren Nelson and Rice now, and they're in a pro set. 2nd down 3. Misdirection. He bounces out. 1st down. He's a tough little inside runner, too. Darren Nelson. McNorton tackling.
You'll notice the nose guard right here. Eric Williams is not fooled on the draw play. Now the backfield action will cross slant. Now see 76. Eric Williams get good penetration. Shook him to the outside. Now the defense just pursues over and he gets him.
And Darren Nelson had 122 yards rushing here in November against Detroit a year ago. And he's starting out hot now. He's out of the game now. Malarkey's in there. And there's Leo Lewis in motion. Kramer on 1st and 10. Out to Rice. Rice finally hit at the 37-yard line by James Harrell. Is it upset time? 7-0.
Might as well do it at the first of the year. Huh?
Al Gross with a recovered fumble in the end zone. And the Bears will find everybody wants a piece of them this year. 2nd down and 8. On the 38. Kramer's first completion to his own teammates. Kramer's healthy. He did not have a great preseason, but he felt like he's going to be much more effective. And Anthony Carter, his great receiver, is not playing. Kramer with a lot of time. Finds a receiver, Leo Lewis. Leo is trapped at the 46-yard line, but I believe he's got a first down.
You're going to pick up Leo Lewis coming in motion across the formation to this point right here. As he continues in motion, he now becomes a receiver to the other side of the formation, and now you'll pick him up to the left side of your screen, coming underneath the linebackers. He's just a little guy. He can go underneath him at about 5'8". Defense now, good pursuit by Vernon Maxwell, number 57.
He's been too small to play anywhere. That's the reason he's doing such a great job up here in the highest level, huh?
Yes, that's right.
Another first down for the Vikings. The I formation back to Darren Nelson. Toss. And so the Bears want a piece of everybody again this year, too. It's a 7-7 tie. A kickoff recovered by Dennis Gentry and run 91 yards for a touchdown.
2 special team plays, huh?
Wow. If this is the way the whole season is, I'll be completely gray by the end of this. I'll look like Summerall by game 16. 2nd down 9 now, facing the Vikings. Atlanta leading New Orleans 7-0 early. A lot of excitement around here already. Lewis is the motion man. The blitz is handled. A bad throw by Kramer, intended for Hassan Jones across the middle. The blitz came, but it looked like the Vikings picked it up.
He got the ball off nicely. He just missed the receiver. He had time, but I think many times when a linebacker gets in your face like that, it distracts you just enough and breaks your concentration. You just can't get the ball to the receiver.
Yeah, that time Kramer looked Vernon Maxwell, number 57, right in the numbers, and didn't throw a good spiral. He usually is very accurate with these shorter tosses. 3rd down 9. Shotgun. No score early. Interception. Nothing happened for the Lions. Across the middle, Nelson has it short of, I think, a first down, but he's at the 45 of Detroit. He really got nailed after the catch.
Tom, now this is the difference between an assistant coach and a head coach. Jerry Burns now makes the decision, do I go for it, or do I punt it, do I listen to the crowd? He never had to do that before as an assistant coach.
He was always upstairs. You couldn't see him if he was making that decision anyway.
As a head coach, I think he's going to have to get a new hairdresser, don't you think?
Yeah, looks like a Toro lawnmower cut that one for him. Greg Coleman coming off his best season last year, 42.8. He's a very clever little player and a great team man to have on your squad. On 4th and about a foot.
I think he's going to use about a 9-iron on this one, just sort of pop it out of bounds.
Man is back, but he's not going to try for it. And the ball is in the end zone. The Lions will have the ball on the 20-yard line with enough room to get it started. No score. 7:51 left in the first. We're sitting on a keg of dynamite. So much happened so fast, we didn't set that Detroit offense that last series. Eric Hipple's the quarterback. Gary James, the rookie out of LSU, getting his start. James Jones, the running back, of course, the big fullback, and a great one. Carl Bland and Jeff Chadwick. We'll see Leonard Thompson there quite often. Lomas Brown, Dietrich Mott, Dorney, Stringer, and David Lewis. Note that Dorney has moved in from right tackle to right guard and playing still like an all-pro. And the offensive line much improved for Detroit in preseason. 1st and 10, the ball's on the 20. Hipple changes and calls the audible, and gets it back to Jones. Jones to the 34-yard line. Looked like Eric Hipple changed it at the line of scrimmage, Dick.
I think he did. Minnesota went to an over defense, moving the linemen to the strong side. The lineman had moved to this side, so he decided to run to that side. Good audible call by Eric Hipple. Toss now, good block by the running back on the linebacker, number 99, David Howard. He cuts back up nicely inside. Notice that big guy running up there with good body till first down.
And for a big man, he has tremendous, you're right, agility, and he can make you miss it. 1st and 10 now. Hipple back, quick drive. He has time. Now he's being chased, and now he's tackled at the 36-yard line by Studwell.
Studwell on the tackle.
Looked like the coverage was good, and there was nobody open.
Did you notice, Tom, that the offensive linemen did not set in a 3-point stance that time? They went in a quick count. Notice all the offensive linemen now all in 2-point stances. They don't have that forward hand down. Here they go. That way they can get good pass protection sets.
And also look for the Lions to go so quickly on 3rd down if it comes up.
Now he's a ball carrier. He doesn't like to do that very often at his age.
That's right, that you can't get your nickel package on the field. The Lions are trying to do some different things. 2nd down, pass. Hipple hits Bland with it, and it's in and out of his hands at the 48-yard line. Carl Bland had a chance to catch that, and Hipple thinks he should have. Holt was there.
You can see the receiver, number 80, Carl Bland, going real high for the ball, and darn near got it. If he'd had his left hand a little further forward, he would have probably pulled that one down, Tom. Isaac Holt, number 39, playing good pass defense.
And Bland, of course, in there for Leonard Thompson, who dropped a couple of balls and drew the ire of Coach Rogers. But I'll take Leonard in the clutch situation almost with anybody. 3rd down and 7. Throw offense, that's Chadwick in motion. Hipple, he's got time, going for Chadwick and overthrows him at the Minnesota 35.
Tom, Eric is a little jittery. He did not let that pattern develop. He threw that just a little bit too soon before the definition of the pattern had really become clear to him.
Rogers is calling for the quarterback to come right over here. I want to talk to you. Mike Black for his 2nd punt of the day. You can see the first one was a 48-yarder. And Rufus Best is back. And this little guy plays a lot of all-around football for him. Good snap by Turner. A low kick. Rufus is going to let this one hit again at the 32 and bouncing to the 26-yard line and out of bounds.
You know, Mike Black is not punting the ball as well as he did last year, nor did he, I think, in the preseason game that we saw.
No score yet. 6:18 left in the first. Americans. 1st and 10 right here at the Metrodome, and we are sold out. And it's a noisy building, but it's a good football indoor arena. Ball's on the 27. Kramer going for the up. Now he goes to the outside and gets Nelson. Nelson has the first down, and Dents is out of bounds. And he was the safety valve receiver.
Notice the quarterback in this situation right here. Kramer will go back. He'll set short. He'll make a pump and then bounce back and try to throw it deep, but the defense covered it. So he had to lay it off. Now watch as he drops. Now watch him pump, fake. Now he jumps back and he wants to go deep. Coverage is there. He lays it off. Now they put the ball in the right guy's hands. Darren Nelson. This guy is really a devastating football player. I'd get the ball in his hands about 30 times a game if I could.
Boy, Kramer's going to. 5 of 7 Kramer is for 30 yards now. And the one interception, the toss. Back to Rice. No way. It looks like the Lions are playing the rush much tougher than they did, of course, a year ago. People averaged over 4 yards a shot at them.
That's Vernon Maxwell, number 57. You know, he really marches to a different drumbeat, that guy, and Darryl Rogers can handle him, but, you know, he failed the test at Indianapolis after being Rookie of the Year, and he got cut at San Diego. You know, he's one of those guys that takes real special care and thought to handle properly.
Darryl Rogers plays drums well, huh?
No, he handles flakes.
A good player, very good against the run so far in preseason, and a very solid citizen in Detroit. 2nd down and 10. Kramer now throwing it, and it has Nelson at the 40. A 34-yard dash by Darren Nelson. A pass from Kramer.
What you're going to see is Darren Nelson come down out here, catch the ball right in the seam, and then do what he does best, run with the football. Now watch him work it out of the backfield. He'll come back to the left side of your screen. There he is. Now watch this guy widen his base, stutter step, make people cut, and now he has, you know, Tom, sprinter speed. Good track man in high school and college. This guy's a runner.
Now, Dick, if you play your linebackers, Maxwell and Harrell, up too close to stop the run, you can get them to where there's a place where you can hit that seam with the pass, huh?
Yes, they flooded the weak side and brought him in behind the linebackers.
It's a first down play on the 25 of Detroit. Inside handoff. Rice is drilled immediately and hit hard on the hip. Maybe a yard gain, about the length of his body. San Francisco draws first blood in their battle with the Buccaneers. 7-0 in the first quarter. Lehman Bennett's going to have to start out a little faster than that. Green Bay with a field goal over Houston.
Houston was undefeated in the preseason. Sometimes that's a kiss of death.
3-0 Washington over Philadelphia. I know that's not going to be a final score in that game. Second down 9. Kramer going outside and almost has the ball picked off. Anderson was receiver. Number 57, Maxwell, had a better shot at it than Anderson.
You know, it seems like we've called Vernon Maxwell's number more times already in the first quarter, Tom, than we called a lot of their linebackers' numbers last year in the whole game.
You know, he was a rookie with the Colts. I'll tell you, I saw him one day play Denver, and they could not handle him. He sacked people. He tackled guys from behind. He's a tremendous athlete, and of course played for Dale Rogers at Arizona State.
Like you said, he had 11 sacks his rookie year.
Incredible. What a
lot of sacks.
Third down and 9. Shotgun. Inside handoff. Darren Nelson. He didn't get the first, but he got him down close to that 15-yard line. Mike Kofer, big number 55, loomed up. And the head coach, well, he's not taking any heat yet.
He said, someone asked him if he bought a new home now that he's the head coach. He said, no, I bought a motor home, so when they fire me, I have a nice place to live. He
said, we sold a big home and got something we could get rid of in a hurry. Chuck Nelson, who won the kicking job over 12 different candidates. Stenerud, of course, the great Scandinavian one, is retired. He was 5 for 5 in preseason.
2 for 2 from this distance, Tom.
Yeah, a 35-yard attempt, and Coleman, the punter, is the holder. They understand one another. Pretty good-looking kick. A sweet stroke, and the Vikings score first in 1986. It's 3-0. Remember the old Metropolitan Stadium? Well, Dick Vermeil and I'm Tom Brookshier. We're in the Metrodome right here in Minneapolis, and 35-yard field goal is the difference here. Young Nelson hit it. A 34-yard reception by Darren Nelson set it up as Kramer hit him. And how many times has Darren touched the ball already?
He's touched the ball 7 times, and he only has about 23 more times to do it in this ball game, and he can win it for him.
That's right.
I mean, you give him the ball 30 times, chances are you're going to win the ball game if your defense plays well.
You were looking at Chuck Nelson tee it up, the young kicker, who's also a very fine golfer. I suppose they rub off on one another, the two sports. Carl Bland, number 80, and Herman Hunter, the former Eagle, picked up by the Lions, is at the top of the screen waiting for this kick. He's a good run-back man. They're kicking it away from Hunter. This is Bland at the 7-yard line. Bland to the 20. Good coverage by the Vikings special teams. You can see Hipple getting his instructions.
Bob Baker, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays, getting him his instructions. And you saw Joe Ferguson with his hand up. He's signaling personnel-wise which people to stay in the ball game if they are in the special teams. They use code signals, probably Carl Bland to stay in the game.
Now the Lions beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the last quarter last week on the road. Does that help them today? They're on the road winning that last preseason game?
It's got to help. No way it can hurt. It's got to help.
Hipple on first down from the 20. Handoff back to Jones. Jones out over the 25. Let's see where they spot it. He's a big man. He can catch the ball, too. He's got great hands. And now, with young James for the outside speed, they think they have a combo.
They do. This guy is a good football player, better than a good football player, and chances of being a great football player if the offensive line stays healthy for him. His rush per carry is only 3.7. He gets into that 4.2 category, he'll be amongst the best.
A pickup of 7 for Jones on that first carry. Outside handoff. James gets his first carry. He's got 4.3 speed. Dolman takes him out of bounds. Let's see if he picked up enough for the first down.
Oh, that Gary James. What did he tell us about rookie camp? He said it went great. They didn't bother him until the final night of training camp. Someone in the 1 o'clock in the morning, Hipple came in and threw water all over him.
The water squads, they call them.
The water squads.
He said the first thing they do is put it all over the floor, so when you get out of bed, jump up, you fall down again. A nice young man, though. He played wingback all the time he was at LSU, and he's getting used to this pro formation. He's got tremendous speed.
He just celebrated his 23rd birthday the other day, so he has a lot of years in front of him.
Third down and a long one for a first down. Vikings are in close. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Jones looks like he got to the 30, but there's a scramble for it.
I tell you, Doug Martin, number 79, stuck his helmet in there and both sides of his shoulders, his left and right shoulder in that play, and he was like running into a wall.
The Vikings have held.
Doug Martin, number 79, playing good football on that play. I'll tell you this. Here he is, number 79. Now watch him step up and just stuff. Here he goes. Now the ball will be snapped. He moves over, gets him. Boom, he's got 2 people there. He sort of collapses people, sacrifices his body, creates a pile. No first down.
Good play, good defensive charge there. Floyd Peters' team, a gambling type defense. You'll see a lot of different blitzes and stunts out of the Vikings this year. Black is kicking in. Rufus Best will be trying to run one back. This is a good hang time. Here's a kick. Best at the 20. Good coverage. Best gets out to the 27.
4 or 5 hang time, Tom. That's what he needs.
CBS Sports kicks off the college football coverage next Saturday. Ohio State takes on the Huskies of Washington. Ohio State boasts the passing combination of Jim Carsados and wide receiver Chris Carter, both All-American candidates. It starts at 2:30 Eastern Time next Saturday on CBS Sports.
That Don James does a great job at the Washington Huskies. I think no matter where they go, play at home or on the road, they're tough.
And Bruce has some pretty good players at Ohio State for him, too, doesn't he?
More than a few.
First and 10 now, facing Tommy Kramer, the number 6 of 9 for 64. And 1 interception. Darren Nelson. It's a long, strung-out play. Why they would run him on that wide play with no deception, I don't know. Demetrius Johnson up quickly.
Demetrius made a lot of tackles last year. Last year, he had 97 of them. What they're trying to do is get the linebackers to make those plays this year rather than the secondary. The secondary led the whole defense in making tackles. Training camp, preseason games this year, Tom, the linebackers led in making tackles.
That's the way it should be, right? The Eagles 7, Washington 3 in the first quarter. The Eagles trailed 3-0 in that one. Houston now leading Green Bay with a touchdown and the extra point tacked on. Wow, what a day to open up. Second down 11. Kramer finds the tight end Jordan. Jordan is corralled at the 35.
Steve Jordan, as we've already said early in the ball game, he is a fine receiver. He'll come off and work on a square end type pattern underneath the linebackers. Both linebackers get involved in making the play. 57 to the left of your screen. Maxwell, 58, Harrell on the right. Now see him get right between the zone linebackers right there. Now they'll approach, attack him, shoulder pads down, good tackle by Maxwell, finish off by Harrell, number 58.
Good play and good call by you, Dick. Third down and 3 after that reception. Jordan, of course, is a civil engineer. The waggle right, and Kramer has it's incomplete as Hassan Jones goes down, but does not make the catch.
This is sucker block, and notice they did not block the defensive lineman. They will pull the offensive lineman here and then bootleg out naked, just fooling the defense. Now watch this. It's a clever play. See, now they pull him over there. They don't even block over there. Here he is out there all alone. He just throws the ball a little too low and to the outside.
You're looking at Greg Coleman. He wants to come into television when he gets through with punting the football. He'll be good at it. Pete Manley's back on the 20-yard line for Detroit.
Very articulate guy. He wants my job, that son of a gun.
Oh, this is a long kick.
Too low, Tom. It's too low.
He might have outkicked the coverage. Manley at the 18. Manley, good return to the 34-yard line, and the flags are down. Looks like he might have gotten an assist illegally from his blockers. Solomon finally made the tackle. Red Cashin's crew is handling this. The Zebras on the field.
They're pretty
alert
good guys.
as ever.
Officials are pretty good guys.
What did you say?
Really. They're pretty good guys.
My gosh, I'd never heard you say that.
Well, I've been away from them for about 3 years now.
Illegal block during the run back. Number 38 of the receivers, it'll be first down at 10.
Number 38, that'd be Scott Williams, was detected by the fellows that Dick Vermeil thinks are great people now. Well, I'd like to have that on a replay. I'd like to put that one in the space capsule when we leave this planet. Never thought I'd hear you say that. First and 10 now. We have the instant replay possibilities here. You know that's a league rule now. Irrefutable evidence. Wow. Ball's on the 17. Hipple looks like he might have changed the play. The toss back to Jones. He finds some room and gets out to the 22-yard line. Good running by Jones. Newton makes the stop from the interior line.
Mr. Jones, one of 10 children, so he knows how to move around the crowd.
Especially at dinner time, right?
Especially at dinner time.
Overworked last year, really. When he was hurt, he still had to play. He missed some of the Dallas game because he was injured early in the season.
Darryl Rogers calls him, Tom, a model of consistency. He just plays well every time we play him.
And he got his contractual problems out of the way.
At least out of his mind.
It'll bring up a 2nd down and 4, and that was the last play of the first half. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. And your local BMW dealer, BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by IBM. The Metrodome, 63,000 plus, and the Vikes with a scant 3-0 lead, a 35-yard field goal by their young kicker. You're looking into the Detroit offensive lineup. Hipple and Country. Stringer, the big right tackle for Michigan, is out to the right side. Dorney's now at right guard. Mott, Dietrich, and at left is Lomas Brown, the big #1 draft of a year ago. 2nd down and 4. Jones out to the 29-yard line. Enough for a first down. Let's go back to the NFL today and Brent Musburger. Hey, Brent.
Well, Brookie, Joe Montana starting to answer some questions about that shoulder touchdown pass to Mike Wilson. And the Niners with a 2-touchdown lead on Tampa Bay, 14-0. Let's go back to Brookie and Dick Vermeil.
All right, Brent, thank you, buddy. The first one of 1986, and the 49ers look like they may have that quality, deep team again.
I think Bill Walsh is pleased with the preseason and the training camp and expects to be better than they were last year. A little hungrier.
1st and 10 now. The Lions going inside. That's Jones. Jones with another running back behind him now. Looks like he's finding some holes. He gets out over the 35. Scott Studwell making a tackle. He's led the Vikings tackling for years and years.
Studwell only needs 85 tackles this year to become the all-time tackler in the history of the Vikings. He'll get 85 in the first 3 games.
Remember the day the 49ers beat them so bad and you were doing the game and he still continued to bang people for 4 quarters?
He'll fight in the closet, that guy.
2nd down 3. Jones enough for almost a first down with a lunge. A good spin by a large running back. He's got good feet.
230 pounds, good balance. Most valuable player on offense last year, and you can see why right now, fans. This guy is one of the quality players. Offensive line right now doing a good job of blocking the front 7 of Minnesota.
And they moved the sticks. It was enough for a first down. The Rams in St. Louis, another big battle, no score, and they're in the second quarter. Eric Dickerson is running in the defense. Philadelphia still hanging on in that first quarter, 7-3 over Washington. Well, wonders never cease. 1st and 10. The misdirection handoff to Jones. The flags are down. It happened outside, like it might be holding or an illegal crackback. Carl Lee really dumped the fullback.
Carl Lee did a nice job, but big Keith Dorney, number 70 at 285 pounds, pulled and nailed somebody over there. I think it was the linebacker.
Look at that.
Look at those arms. They look like piano legs on a big grand piano. Look at that thing.
And he represents himself. Russ Thomas has a heck of a time, you know, arm wrestling with this big guy over money.
Well, he was an academic All-American.
Illegal motion, number 87 on the offense, still first down.
Illegal motion by David Lewis. The tight end might have shifted his finger. Well, those tight ends right now, they're like tackles, you know, with wings on. They've got to do everything. There's Dorney coming up.
And can you believe the guy right outside of him, Stringer, is bigger than he is?
First and 15 on the 35. A misdirection handoff away from it. This is Gary James to the 41-yard line, and only a good tackle by Joey Browner kept young James from maybe breaking that one.
Joey Browner did a nice job on it. He did not get fooled with a misdirection. He came inside out on the play and put him down. Good former USC football player. And that's tough for me to say about a USC guy, having coached against him for so many years.
And you know that James, that Browner tackled, runs the 4.35 40 all the time. In fact, he was the fastest player of the drafted players that played football.
That's right.
I think Bo might have beat him by a fraction, but he's playing baseball.
Coward.
Second down 9. Play action pass. Hipple's got the receiver Chadwick at the 46, and he's nailed immediately, but a first down catch. Morrell was there, but late.
Isaac Holt was pulled forward on the run. Either a coverage call to rotate him up there for support, or he was just fooled.
Keeping in mind that Floyd Peters' defenses do a lot of twisting and stunting, but they do need to pick up their sack
percentage. Oh, they really. If you can sack the quarterback, it gives you a chance to go to the playoffs.
They did it 17 times in 4 preseason games, the Vikings, but they haven't gotten Hipple but one time today. First and 10 misdirection to Jones. He's got some room to the 40-yard line, and bodies are tumbling. Joey Brown making another tackle from safety.
As you watch the big offensive linemen now come out on their pull to help, follow them from the left side of your screen. See, here they come. The tackle's coming along with him, going to be in his hip pocket. Dorney knocks down Mark Mulaney, number 77. He gets outside to the right of your screen. You're going to see a receiver. There he is, number 80, Carl Bland, getting a nice block.
Jones has 50 yards on 9 carries. And Hipple has the Lions on a roll. Second down and 4. Outside goes James. Boy, he has speed. James to the 30-yard line of Minnesota.
Tom, Buddy Ryan's influence on defense. That time, Minnesota was in their own version of the Buddy Ryan 46 defense, covering all 3 offensive linemen inside with defensive linemen.
So the best place to go is outside, where James went, huh?
You're sure as heck not going to make an inch inside.
11-yard gain and another first down. The Lions trailing 3-0, but they're getting serious here in this second period. The offensive line looked very solid in the tapes we saw of the Cincinnati game. Blocking.
They blocked him. They owned the line of scrimmage, in fact, that second half.
The crowd calling for defense now. Inside move. Jones. Ooh, hit hard at the 25. Studwell making the tackle. There he is, wherever he's been.
Floyd Peters. Look at that haircut.
Detroit, St. Louis, San Francisco, New York, he all had crazy twisting defenses. And good ones.
Tom, his philosophy is to penetrate, attack the offensive line, read on the move, get upfield, and then go ahead and find the ball. And they do that. Sometimes that hurts your run pursuit. And because they're upfield, if the running back clears the line of scrimmage, it's all up to those linebackers.
He has just moved into Minnesota, and right now the Lions have moved into Minnesota territory. Second down 7. Hipple with time. Intercepted. That's Isaac Holt. Ike Holt they call him, and Jeff Chadwick was the intended receiver.
You're going to see that Isaac Holt, number 30, was all alone because they run play action here to freeze the linebackers. He's out there all alone, no help, and does he take advantage of the opportunity? Nice fake, freezes everybody. Studwell 55 sitting on the line of scrimmage. There it is, one-on-one, and Isaac Holt takes that away, one-on-one. They better go deep and get those guys backed off.
Wow, what an INT. It's 3-0 Minnesota, and they got the ball back. How long's it been when they call them the Purple People Eaters in Minnesota? The defense is back. Purple People Eaters are lion beaters.
We saw one of the original Purple People Eaters walking around the office.
Carl Eller.
Carl Eller. He still looks like he could play.
I know. He had his son Regis with him. Great guy, Carl Eller. What a man. 1st and 10, the ball's under 16. Kramer with the draw play to Darren Nelson. And Nelson gets to the 23-yard line. A real quick draw.
What you're going to see here, Tom, is two people trying to get that nose guard now. You're going to see the center right here and the guard go ahead and work on that nose guard, Eric Williams, and give him the running room on the draw. Now 46, Alfred Anderson running through, gets the lead block. Look at that hole. That's big enough for you and I to run through.
Boy, what a good block on Harold Anderson got. That's a tough block.
Yes.
2nd down and 2. Kramer, 7 of 11 for 72 yards. 2nd down 2, outside. Rice. Pull down for perhaps a loss. Good defensive play by the Lions. Devon Mitchell, the young safety from Iowa.
He's a number 4th pick this year, one of the few guys to make the squad out of the draft, and has great, they say, great feel for the game. Doesn't need a lot of coaching, just needs more experience. Here's Wayne Fonsa, the defensive signal caller. Is he a piece of work?
What do those signals mean, my gosh? What does that interpret down? That's Rex Norris next to him.
The first signal says if they run, stop it. The second signal says if they pass, stop that. And the third one says get your butt in gear.
I don't care how you do it, right?
Yeah, get him.
3rd down and call it a long one. Kramer sprinting left. He's being rushed. Good throw to Jordan to the 43-yard line.
Tom, what happened here is the quarterback now sprints out. See, the quarterback comes on out and the linebackers overrun the tight end in the hole. The quarterback flow makes the linebackers run more. See the linebacker to the left of your screen, fans, number 58. Jordan, number 83, works around him in the hole. Now Harold, 58, closes on him from the left. And to your right is Maxwell making the tackle.
And the Minnesota offense really picked that up beautifully. They blocked and gave Kramer the time to hit Jordan. Jordan with those 3 catches. 7.5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Kramer with a lot of time, going deep. Incomplete, intended for Hassan Jones. Kramer gets knocked down. He had some pressure right in his face. William Gay.
What you're going to notice here initially is beautiful play faking. Now you have big William Gay getting after him from the blind side. Zimmerman got beat, number 65, and you can see how hazardous it is to play quarterback.
How late can you hit him?
Not much later. William Gay likes to get there just about on time, if not a split second earlier.
It's like, Tommy, I'm here today. Don't wait too late to pull that trigger. 2nd down and 10. The ball is on the 43. Set offense. Kramer rushed. Complete at midfield to Darren Nelson. Maxwell made the tackle, but that was some catch by number 20.
And the other thing was nice about that is Kramer allowed the pattern to develop. He wanted to go downfield, Tom. It wasn't there, so he takes the layoff. Minnesota's using a lot of movement, making showing a formation and then moving the receiver to the other side with motion.
And how do you get the ball to Darren Nelson? A variety of ways.
Any way you can. I tell you, that makes you a heck of a smart offensive coach. Just call his name.
3rd down and 3. You see the clock there, the insert. 2nd quarter. Kramer with a lot of time, and an open receiver. Oh, intercepted, and let's see if they're going to call it no good. McNorton was out of bounds.
That could be one for the instant replay right there.
Was he inbounds with the interception or out?
I think he was out, but, you know, We can take a look at it from the end zone and find out if we can see it to the left side of your screen. Now the defensive back is moving inside out on the plate, did a real nice job, bats it in the air, he has it in his hands. That's 29, Bruce McDort. He was definitely out of bounds. Good call by the official.
He was just juggling. There's the replay box.
Joe Gardy sitting there looking at it. He used to be a football coach. Look how much more relaxed he looks now.
Comfortable, right?
A little heavier, too.
Greg Coleman's third punt of the afternoon. Oh, it's going to be interference with the run back man. Pete Manley was knocked out from underneath that by number 47, Joey Browner.
You know what I can't figure out about that last 3rd down and 3 call, Tom, was that Burns went like for a 25-yard pass when they only needed 3 yards.
I know.
Sometimes that confuses me.
Especially when Kramer had so much time, he could have dumped that to a lot of people.
Yes, there were people open.
Interference, number 47. Interference with the opportunity to make a kick. 15 yards, first down.
Joey Browner was the special teams representative for the Vikings in the Pro Bowl.
To the right of your screen, you're going to see the sprinter, number 47, closing in from the outside in this case, on the screen, right to left. There he is. He's going to take the ball, and hello! Boo! You are at the mercy, huh?
Manley's got to learn the fair catch signal. It's 3-0 Minnesota. Tom Brookshier and Dick Vermeil at the Metrodome. The officiating crew, Red Cashion, just put 20 seconds back on the clock. It told everybody, which settled the crowd down, of course. 5:40 left before halftime. That was some play. There's Darryl Rogers now trying to get it straight on.
He's saying, please, sir, explain it to me. Look at this. Look at this. No, you don't. Now you got 4 guys discussing it. None of them know what's happening.
All the zebras.
Oh, look at it. Here we go, Red.
Here he's going. Come on, Red. Give us the info.
The correct time on the clock is 6:40. 6 minutes and 40 seconds, not 5.
We just went for a minute and 20 seconds. A lot of things happen in a minute and 20 seconds in this world, I'll tell you that.
Well, it was good coaching, good heads up by Darryl Rogers, because I think his griping on the sideline over there got him straightened out. If you don't yell sometimes, you know, you don't get any help from anybody. Good job, Darryl. Get after him. Don't smile at him.
Where did he start? At Fresno State?
No, actually, yeah, Fresno State, San Jose State,
Arizona State, Michigan State.
He's been in all the states.
He was coach of the year when he was at Michigan State.
Yeah, hey, out in California, too.
All right, first down and 10. The ball's on the 24. Hipple is the quarterback. Inside play, not much for Jones. Let's go to Brent Musburger with the NFL Today. Brent leads on this play. Second down and 8. Hipple is 1 of 5. Play action pass. He's being rushed by Mullaney, and now he's going to have to run with it. Chased out by Tim Newton.
Tim Newton. I tell you, I'm surprised he could run that fast at 302 pounds. He is a big guy. You know, his wife just had a baby boy, only weighed 7 pounds, or 6 pounds, 9 ounces. I asked him how much he weighed when he was born. I figured like 18 pounds, you know. You know what he said? 7 pounds, 3 ounces, Coach, that's all.
He is something.
He's got a brother, 330 pounds, playing at the Cowboys.
That's the big brother, huh?
Yeah.
Third down and 6, facing Newton's defensive teammates as the Floyd Peters syndrome settles in. A big 4-man rush is going to be coming from all directions, and Hipple's got to get it off. He's been 0 of 4 on third down. Oh, he gets hit by the linebacker, but gets it off. A good completion to Leonard Thompson, and I'll tell you, Hipple stayed in there and knew what was going to hit him.
He did a nice job of staying in there, and I'll tell you something. This guy will be back in the starting unit. Get him the football. You know, he has a long career of making big plays. He's caught a touchdown. Every 8th reception in his career has been a 6-pointer. You know, so if you're down on him a little bit, he's getting a little old. He's dropped one. He jumped offside last week. Forget it. Get him back in the ball game.
A 14-yarder for Leonard Thompson, who always plays well, by the way, against Minnesota. And, you know, players get certain teams that they get with us. First and 10 now. Good pickup by Hipple. Offsides against the Vikings, so the Jones run to the 45 will be arbitrated. Chris Goldman may have jumped, the big linebacker. We're going to adjudicate this penalty, and then we're going to let you in on some scores. That's what we were just told. By
Adjudicate?
Adjudicate.
What does that mean?
That means we're going to find out what the rules have to say.
Offsides. Number 77 on the defense. It's still first down.
It was Mark Mullaney, the veteran, the guy that's got not only a shield on his helmet, but a rocking chair they put in his locker the other day.
He's the old solid veteran, and they have a rocking chair in front of his locker. And you know something? He sits in and uses it. It's an old oak rocking chair.
Quite an athlete and in tremendous shape for somebody that's 32 years of age. He is really some specimen.
Playing his 141st Viking game.
1st and 5. The Lions still in their own territory. Handoff. Boy, James is dropped. Howard making a good tackle from the offside. Here's some scores. Atlanta now leading New Orleans 14-0. Rams 6, St. Louis 0. They're not at halftime yet. And Philadelphia 7-3 in the nation's capital. 14-0 San Francisco visiting. And Chicago looking like Chicago. So much for my predictions. Houston on top of Green Bay. 2nd down 4. Jones. Oh, he breaks off. Look out. Jones at the 20 to the 13-yard line. He's down. There won't be any fumble, but that is some run, and I don't see any flags.
What you're going to see here is a play start to the offensive left, defensive right. Big reverse pivot by the quarterback, hand it back deep. Now you can see the defensive end charged upfield to the left side of your screen, and he broke back nicely. Big 230-pound back working up in between number 33, Isaac Hope, who comes in from behind and makes a play. Joey Browner helps out. Nice run, good cutback.
A 39-yard burst by a 229-pounder. He's on the sideline, but he doesn't look seriously hurt. He's got 94 yards rushing. And the Lions have a 1st down handoff. That's James. He runs hard inside the 10. Newton and Browner tackling him there.
Really a fine block by David Lewis, the tight end, to run out of that formation all the way across the defensive front and get outside. Your tight end has to do a super job, and he really did.
Good drive by Detroit. Remember, they took the punt where Manley was roughed by Browner, and they've taken it right down. A series of good plays. Good selection by the quarterback, too. 2nd down 7 now.
These offensive plays are being called by Bob Baker, the coordinator.
Ball is on the 9-yard line. A lot of noise at that end of the stadium. They get it off. Scott Williams straight ahead inside the 5-yard line of Minnesota. Studwell and company stop him there, and the Vikings thought they came out with the football.
Here's Bob Baker, the man in the middle with the gray shirt on, standing right next to Ferguson. That's the offensive line coach there, Mr. Bill Muir, standing to his right. Ivy Williams, the running back. Hey, they all want to call the plays now. It's only a few yards to go for a touchdown.
They look like a bunch of auctioneers. They look like the Keeneland sales for thoroughbred horses or something.
You've been there.
Oh, yeah, of course I have. 3rd down and 1. Big play in this game. Jones and Williams. Jones, 1st down and goal. He covered it up and took a beating, but he got the 1st.
Scott Studwell, number 55, did a good job of filling, but the big, powerful running back got underneath his tackle. Now you're going to see Studwell. I think that's him right here. He's going to fire. Now watch the quarterback as he here comes Studwell, number 55. Now follow him. He goes, running back goes under him. He went for the neck. He better go a little bit lower.
Jones covered that ball up to make sure he maintained possession. I thought it was enough for the 1st. I didn't think it was going to be that close. Maybe I spoke too soon. It is the 1st. And goal. And the Detroit Lions, of course, trail 3-0 from that earlier 35-yard field goal. Steve Bach, the big all-purpose defensive lineman, is playing offensive blocking back like the refrigerator.
He also played offensive guard in training camp. He's sort of a mobile athlete. There he is, number 68. Actually, this time they're playing him at left tight end and not as a fullback.
Jones for maybe a foot.
Credit Mark Mullaney for getting good penetration there, Tom. Number 77. There's the defensive coordinator.
He looks like somebody from a James Bond movie, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
So does Mullaney. Second and goal to go. Remember the opening day, Detroit came out and Billy Sims showed up in 1980. That's right. First regular game, 153 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns for Sims, and the Lions with the NFC champions from LA 41-20. What a day to remember for Detroit Lion people and fans. And boy, I tell you, missing Billy Sims. If he'd played last year, Rodgers thinks he might have won 3 more football games, which means 10.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of ifs in this game, you know. What they'd like is Gary James to fill Billy Sims' shoes, you know. He's not the same kind of runner, though he is faster.
But he doesn't have quite that tremendous lateral movement.
No, he doesn't. He can't make people miss, but he's a much better receiver.
Sims was such a glider, though. He could go sideways about 6 yards and come down and take off. Here we are, the Lions trying to get on the board for their first score of 1986. Second down and goal from the 2. Jones scored. Touchdown. And it shouldn't have been by anybody else. Jones has 96 yards before this carry. Hard-nosed football by number 30.
What you're going to notice here is Rubik, number 84, to the left of your screen, coming in motion just to distract. Now the big fullback giving it to the right guy, getting up over the top and getting the ball in the end zone. Very alert ball carrier. Mr. James Jones. You know, you do call him Mr.
Whatever he wants to be called. I know Darryl Rodgers really loved that drive. That's one of the great drives in Lion history. Murray kicking now. Black is the holder. The man they call Money Murray. It's good. 76 yards in 10 plays. And quite a drive.
That Murray is a money player, though. You know, last year he was, I think, the 3rd percentage kicker in all of football, and he is number 2 overall right now in the National Football League, career-wise percentage kicker. The guy is really good.
All right, Jones now, we've graded him an A+ so far, but the first part of this game. How about Hipple? How did he run the offense for Detroit that series?
Well, really, what he's really done well is hand the ball off. The offensive line deserves the credit here. When you start looking at Lomas Brown, Chris Dietrich, number 72, Steve Mott, the center, hey, they're blocking that nose tackle in there. Keith Dorney, number 70, Rich Stringer, 71. They're controlling that line of scrimmage.
But that's a good thing for a team to do. We're going to run today. Let's see if we can go ahead and keep it running.
You look a lot better as a quarterback, too, because it's now not your total responsibility to win the football game. The offensive lineman earned. Look at that,
There
Dietrich.
they are.
He held out for a while. There's Lomas Brown to the right of your screen, 75. Keith Dorney, number 70, to the left side of your screen.
Now, those guys eat sides of beef. You know, they don't order an end cut. They order a side of beef.
Remember that expression, where's the beef? Well, there they are, guys, right there.
Murray is getting ready to strike it. This little guy, by the way, is one of the most accurate field goal kickers of all time. And he can get them pretty deep, and the deep kickoff is very important because the run backs are not accepted very well by the coaches. This is Buster Rhymes waiting for it.
They gave up too much yardage last year, ranking 19th in covering kickoffs, Tom, so they're trying to do it better this year.
Rhymes can run it back from the 5. Buster Rhymes, he gets outside.
Buster Rhymes ran him back 25.4 average. Now watch the stiff arm. That's old-fashioned football, Tom. They used to do that to you when you played. Of course, you didn't wear a helmet, but that's the same technique they used, isn't it? The old stiff arm. You don't see people use that very often anymore.
And John Bostic received it. Buster Rhymes delivered it, the young man from Oklahoma. He's really got his act together this year, and he's a valuable commodity. First and 10, the ball's in the 38. Kramer and company. Sprint out right. Now he's going to be sacked at the 32. Good play by Keith Ferguson.
Keith did a nice job. He's the guy that came from the San Diego Chargers. Evidently some kind of a problem there because they just waived him and let him go. He was a linebacker in college at Ohio State.
This allows them to use Curtis Green anywhere along the line of scrimmage there to play sort of the swingman role, which is important. Kramer back on second, 16. Complete. Hassan Jones fumbles. Let's see if they call it a complete. Incomplete. McNorton forced that one out.
Great tackle by Bruce McNorton. That's the advantage when you can also cover and then nail people as well, because if the guy does have a chance to catch it, you knock it out with a jarring tackle. Bruce McNorton, number 29. You'll see what I'm talking about to the left side of your screen right now. Here, the ball being thrown up to the left-hand corner. See him come back in that zone. Wham! He still should have caught the ball. That's a rookie dropping a ball, but good tackle by Bruce McNorton.
Kramer is 9 of 16 for 98 yards. This is a third down. Tries to shovel it. He does. He gets it to Anderson. Short of the first down, but out to the 43-yard line. A little shuttle pass.
You don't see this very often in football, but you see it more from the shotgun. You're going to notice the quarterback take the ball and shovel it to this guy. Just a little forward lateral. If it was fumbled, if it was dropped right there, it would be called an incomplete pass. There he is with 51, Jim Huff, up there getting a nice lead block. The receivers doing the best they can downfield, missing like they normally do.
And Dallas used to do that a lot, remember? Staubach used to do that to Preston Pearson, wasn't it?
The Bears run it a lot, too.
Fourth down now, facing Greg Coleman and the Vikings. He's kicked it pretty well so far.
Too low, though, Tom.
Yeah, Pete Manley is waiting. He was interfered with the last time. Ooh, this is a deep kick. Manley's driven back. He takes it at the 7. He's hit again. He's still on his feet. Flags are down. Joey Browner again. And Burns is now a head coach.
There he is. He's being introduced. Joey Browner is the Special Teams Player of the Year again.
Interference with the opportunity. Number 47, first down at 10.
This is the second time that's happened. You've got to give him room to field the football, and you can see right there the punt returner is at his mercy there. He's just going to get the ball. He didn't give him the yard. He didn't hit him before he caught it, but he didn't give him the cushion that you're supposed to give him. Great balance by Pete Manley, number 82, spinning out of that, Tom, and actually staying alive.
Wow, Browner's exciting. It's 7-3 Detroit. So you want to be a head coach in the National Football League, eh?
Well, he was passed over 4 times. Bob Holloway went to St. Louis from Minnesota. Jack Patera went to Seattle from Minnesota. Neil Armstrong went to Chicago from Minnesota. Les Steckel took Minnesota from Minnesota, and he finally gets his chance, and I'm really happy for him. Everybody in the community, I think, is happy, as well as the squad. But I'll tell you this, I don't think he's going to be one of these guys that say, hey, being a head coach is no different. They just pay you more. That's a lot of baloney.
He says, don't give me plays, give me players. He said that yesterday. He said, I want the real good players, and somehow we're gonna win these games.
You know what I was surprised, though, what I was really surprised, though, Tom, is I asked him, I said, are you really going to remain the offensive coordinator, because he was a great offensive coordinator and a good innovator. And he said, no, he says, I'm going to let my coordinator, Bob Selker, do that. My defensive coordinator, Peters, run the defense. And I said, oh, you're going to be the chairman of the board. And he says, that's right.
That's good. And by the way, they're upstairs checking right now. The chairman of the board has asked, Darrell Rogers is trying to counterman this, but they're checking with the replay people to see if there's a change, and there is not. The buck stops here. 1st and 10 on the 23-yard line. Hipple is 2 of 6 for 27 yards. That's passing. The toss back to Jones. Jones is right at 100 yards. He gets out to the 27-yard line. Studwell making his 4th tackle.
Good job of linebacking by Chris Goldman.
Number 1 from Minnesota.
Gosh, is that loud in here or what?
The crowd is very loud in here because we're in this bag.
You have to allow that punt return specialist room to catch the football, and I think that's what they're squawking about here, and that's why they wanted the people up here in the press box with the new, the new camera video stuff. You can see right here on your screen, fans, that the official there did not think he gave him enough room to catch a ball, but he did allow him to catch it.
Yes, he did. It's close.
And it is, that's, I don't know how you call that.
Well, the other thing is Manley shouldn't have tried to catch the ball. You know, I'm sure that Darrell Rogers is saying, what's he trying to do, catch the ball?
Well, that's the disadvantage of being a single safety back there. In the old days, you always had two, and the other guy would say, fair catch, take it, you know, or I got it. In this case, he's back there by himself, and in this place, you couldn't hear anybody yelling at you anyway. So, I mean, you're at the mercy of your own decision.
Darrell Rogers checking with his crew. This is like the chief of staff talking to his generals. It's 2nd down and 6. We got a 7-3 game, Detroit. Running the football. Detroit's done it well. Jones gets outside, maybe to the 32-yard line. He is over 100 yards now, well over it. Studwell making another
timeout number 2 for Minnesota.
Second timeout burned by the Vikings. What a first half Jones has had.
He's a horse, you know, he's big enough to carry the ball 25, 30 times every ball game, you know, and he gets his bumps and bruises. You know, this guy has the ability as well, Tom, to play injured. They're not really hurt, but play bumped up and bruised like you have to do in this league to be a good running back.
The Lions last year only averaged 96 yards rushing per game, so this is quite a turnaround for them to be able to come out with the good offensive line and rush that football.
Yeah, you remember the offensive line was banged up a lot last year too, Tom. He wants to improve the running game. You've got to run the ball to win. That's all there is. You know, the passing game, hey, that excites the people, and you do get some points with it. But if you want to win, if you want to be a playoff team, you better run the ball well, and you better stop the run real well.
If you run it 40 times, you win about, what, 97% of the time, don't you?
Well, last year there were 68 games in which a offensive team ran the ball 68 times, and they ran it 40 times, rather, and they won it 66 times. 66 out of 68.
So if you can run it, the other guy doesn't have the ball while you're doing it. Jones at 104 yards now. 53 seconds left before half. Hipple on 3rd down and about a foot. 1st down. Jones is taking quite a beating, but he's delivering more than he's accepting. Another timeout burned. The Vikings trying to just get everything stopped so they could maybe get a kick and get a field goal out of this before the intermission.
They're playing it very cautious, really, not throwing the ball, not trying to, you know, to prevent the mistake and that kind of thing. Hand the ball off, eat up the clock, and go in with a 7-3 lead.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brent and Irv are joined by the new NFL Today contributor, Will McDonough. He'll have scores and highlights from around the league and look at the U.S. Open's men's final between Lindell and Mercier. And we'll have all the scores, and it's been an exciting start for number 86 here, 1986. Outside move by Gary James, gets hit very hard. Give the rookie a yard and a half and a headache. Big Chris Dolman, who is a gigantic linebacker, ate him up.
6'5", 250-pound outside linebacker.
That's the end of the first half. Boy, what a good first half. Not a lot of scoring. The new head coach, our old friend Jerry Burns, walks off. He's a little bit hot.
He's very thin and skinny, but what do you see him at the end of the year?
You mean he's going to put on weight?
No, he's going to lose some more.
On the other side, of course, his Central Division counterpart, Darrell Rogers, takes his team in with a slight lead. He can't be too unhappy with that rushing game. And they put some pressure on Tommy Kramer, too, in this first half.
I believe in the second half they're going to have to come out with a little better balance in the passing, a little more success in the passing, or I don't think you can hold the lead scoring one more touchdown.
All right, Dick, that's the end of the first half. Detroit 7, Minnesota 3 at halftime. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota, who offers a full line of 1986 cars and trucks. More dependability, more quality, more satisfied owners. Who could ask for anything more? And Federal Express, why fool around with anyone else? And by Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger along with Irv Cross. And Irv, we certainly welcome the newest addition to the NFL Today, Will McDonough. Will, nice to have you with us.
It's nice to be here, Brent.
Well, what about Joe Morris? Especially New York Giant fans want to know, is he going to play tomorrow night against the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, you know, last week Joe Morris was in a contract problem, and he said, hey, I may boycott that first Monday night game. Well, I talked to Bill Parcells, the head coach, this morning, and he said Joe is at practice. He expects Joe to be on the plane, and he thinks Joe is going to play tomorrow night.
And most of all, he hopes Joe plays tomorrow night. Irvin, well, let's take everybody to the scoreboard and get them up to date. In our first development, this is championship day out at the U.S. Open. Lendl, of course, and Brookshier are going to play a little bit later today, but in the women's championship, Martina Navratilova has done it. Her third straight U.S. Open title, and she closed out Helena Suková, Czechoslovakia in straight sets 6-3 and 6-2. Now, switching to the National Football League. Detroit and Minnesota, of course, you're enjoying this game. The Lions with a lead, 7-3 over the Vikings at the half there. Cleveland and Chicago, it was wild and woolly. The Bears gave up a touchdown almost immediately in this game, and yes, they had to go to the instant replay official to see if the Browns had possession in the end zone, and indeed they did. Then the Bears returned the kickoff, and it was Dennis Gentry, 91 yards for the touchdown, and they've been on a roll ever since, although the Browns are hanging tough. The Oilers lead the Packers, 14-3. They're in the second quarter there in Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Atlanta and New Orleans, they are playing this down in New Orleans, 14-3, the Falcons with the lead in that game. The Rams and St. Louis. Los Angeles scored a touchdown, could not convert the extra point, and they lead the St. Louis Cardinals. It was Eric Dickerson on a 1-yard run that capped off a 97-yard touchdown drive. San Francisco over Tampa Bay, 14-0. They are in the second quarter of that game. And Washington over Philadelphia, 17-7. Buddy Ryan in his debut with the Philadelphia Eagles. Ron Jaworski going deep down the sideline to Phil Smith here for a 36-yard gain and a slick catch by Smith. And great touchdown play here, Irv.
But I tell you, Jaworski still possesses that strong arm. Here he is now, working to Ron Johnson in the corner, right on the money.
Watch this next play. It sets up a Washington touchdown. It's the old quick kick. Quick kick, all right. Randall Cunningham right off the butt of one of his offensive linemen. Washington says, let's make the most of that, and indeed they did, Irv.
Well, I tell you, Schrader, has just gotten to the point now where he's settled in, replacing Joe Theismann, the quarterback there. Calvin Bryant, a new acquisition from the USFL, scores a touchdown.
All right, so the score in that game again is 17-7 Skin. Will and Irv and I are going to be back. We're going to take a look at the men's final coming up right after these messages from your local stations.
Hi, everyone. Tom Brookshier and Dick Vermeil at halftime score. Detroit 7, the Minnesota Vikings 3 at halftime after 30 minutes. The one thing we have found out about this year's Detroit team, at least so far, is that they can go on the road and not get upset stomachs and play pretty darn well. They played a pretty good first half and rushed the football like gangbusters.
Well, like you said, Tom, they controlled the ball on the line of scrimmage. They've rushed the ball already. In the first half, 27 times for 145. That's a lot of running. Now, the defense of the Minnesota Vikings is a penetrating. They like to rush the passer. If you can block those guys, they don't get in pursuit real quick, you're going to get the good running.
All right, let's go over that stat again, that if you rush the ball 40 times,
or if you rush the ball 40 times or more last year, there were 68 teams that did that. They won 66 games.
So if you have the ball that much and you're effective enough to where you keep giving the ball off and rushing the football, it's better than putting it in the air all the time, right?
That all depends on the quality of your passing game as well, Tom. There are a lot of variables, but that was the stat last year. The big thing that's important, I think, now for people to realize and teams to realize, you got to win that league opener if you want to be in the playoffs. Over the last 8 years, believe this or not, there have been 86 teams in the playoffs. 60 of them won the league opener, 26 lost, and those that lost, most of them lost to a playoff caliber football team.
Now, if a coach loses the opener and somebody has to lose one,
you bet.
You go back and tell your team it's not that important because we got 15 left, right?
Well, neither team has lost right now, but what you do as a head coach, you say, listen, guys, this is the most important game we play this week. Now, if we win it, hey, we've got a better chance of going on the playoffs. If we lose it, we can still go. We're just not making it easier for ourselves.
All right, the two teams we're watching, are they going to be very competitive in this Central Division? The Packers are 8-8, supposed to be an improved team. We don't know yet about how good the Bears are over last year. I hope they're not any better for everybody's sake. Are these two teams competitive?
Well, at this time, it's really tough to say. I mean, based on last year's performance in preseason they were even or better, and if you're even or better, you have a better chance of going to the playoffs statistically. So they have a shot. Both teams right now, I don't think either team is playing like a playoff team because Detroit lacks the balance in the passing game right now, and Minnesota really right now is not doing anything real well.
And for you fans of football, don't worry about the instant replay, because it's only supposed to be used on change of possession anyway. We'll be back with the second half, so get taped up. It's going to be tough. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller High Life. Miller, made the American way since 1855. United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. And by STP Corporation, the world's racetracks, so the world's roads. STP, your car care company. STP. And you're looking at the young man Nelson that got the field goal, the 35-yard part, but that's young Kramer, the quarterback, who's in such good shape he looks like a young kicker. But Nelson's field goal put the Vikings up in the first quarter 3-0. And then Jones got the touchdown and Murray the extra point to put the Lions ahead in the second period. It's a 7-3 game, and Tommy Kramer has got to find a way to get past that new defense for the Lions. Stopping the run, he's going to have to throw the football, and he does not have Anthony Carter. He does not have Anthony Carter in there. He had his knee scoped several days ago. You're looking at Hipple and Chadwick over there. There's Joe Ferguson, the great veteran quarterback, number 12, just making sure in case he has to go in and be called, he would be ready, and he is always ready. Nelson is kicking off from the 35-yard line, and Carl Bland, number 80, waits for Detroit. This is going to be Bland at the 5-yard line. Carl Bland with a streak at the wedge gets him out to the 27-yard line. A very daring run back.
You know, he has to. You know what they call Carl Bland? They call him the yo-yo. Because he's been up and down in this league so often. Last year he made the team, they cut him, they brought him back, he made the team, they cut him again, and now here he is back playing football again.
From Virginia Union, a nice small school down in the Appalachian region. There you're looking at the 100 and some odd rusher. Look at that, 107 yards. Minnesota's got a total of 27. Jones has been busy. 1st and 10. Jones to the 33-yard line.
Good job of blocking by Keith Dorning, number 70. He tied up Keith Millard, number 75, and allowed that little crack to appear in the defense.
Morrell came up from safety for the Vikes, but it's a 5-yard gain. This is the first time the Detroit line that we see is intact for the whole game. Last year we did them a couple of times, and I never did see the same offensive line.
And they lost their big number 3 pick in Milenchik right now. You know, he's 300-pounder.
They call it 4 yards to go. It's a long 5, believe me, or a long 4. Straight drop. Hipple going up, and Chadwick has it, but it's intercepted. Chadwick was interfered with at the 42-yard line by the upback, so Morrell's interception will probably be nullified.
That's Red Cashin, the referee, making the decision in the call right here.
Be an automatic first down, and they'll move the sticks.
Illegal contact. Number 30 on the defense. First down.
Isaac Holt, the left corner, makes the play now. You're going to see over to the left side of your screen, you see the safety, number 35, moving for the interception. They had double coverage going to the weak side. He gets over there and picks off the ball nicely. It was a late throw, but up in front of all that, number 30 jammed the receiver beyond that 5-yard zone.
You've got a 5-yard chuck area, but evidently Ike Holt got him just beyond that, and he was caught. 1st and 10. Ball is on the 37. Hipple to who? Jones to the 39.5-yard line. David Howard.
They're going to come
there.
Time they're going to have to come with some first down passing plays now. They're getting in now that 8-man front defense, the 46 defense designed by Buddy Ryan, and that's tough to run on.
Well, it's silly to run on it. You might as well go ahead and put it up, isn't it?
It's man on man down there on your wide receivers.
Coach Rogers watches on. Don't forget, we'll be in Detroit, the Silverdome, for the Dallas Cowboy Detroit game. We'll get to see Herschel Walker. They have a few other players too. 2nd down and 9 to go. Only a couple, as Dick Vermeil said. They have tightened up that rushing defense Minnesota has. Minnesota takes the trip south to Tampa Bay.
Lehman Bennett's fighting some battles down there, getting that organization rebuilt in Tampa.
Everybody wants to do it in a hurry, and the only people I've seen do that are you and a couple of others that have been able to do it in 4 or 5 years. John McKay, 3rd down and 5, facing Eric Hipple of the Detroit offense. He's got time. Hipple dumps it on the ground, intended for number 39, Leonard Thompson.
You know who made the play? The umpire made the play. Number 78. Isn't that 78? You're going to see this right here.
That's Art Demas. How did he do it?
You're going to see a receiver appear from the right side of your screen. Art Demas, number 78, the man in the striped jersey right there, moves forward to get out of the way. He lays it off. It hits him. Boy, is that frustrating or is that frustrating?
I want to see Coach Rogers at that moment. I know we can. It's just as well that we can and should. Mike Black, his 4th punt. Back deep, of course, is Rufus Bess, standing about on the Viking 10-yard line. Oh, this is a good punt. Good hang time and heading for the corner. Rufus is going to fake the fair catch, and it's into the end zone. And it'll come out to the 20, a 57-yard punt. Detroit 7, Minnesota 3. Guess we ought to say hi to everyone, huh?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Barbara. That's our 2 wives, right? It's fun to
You
meet
have 2 wives? Oh my gosh, you're once enough problems, isn't it?
I don't need you to get me in trouble, thank you. We are enjoying this afternoon of football. In 1986, from what I've seen, the whole country seems to be turned on for pro football. The exhibition attendance figures were way up, television numbers were out of sight, and we hope you people are enjoying professional football. We are. Kramer's numbers, 10 of 17 for 111, but so far no cigar. 1st and 10, ball's on the 20. Darren Nelson has room. Darren Nelson darting his way to the 29-yard line. I don't know how he does it either.
Great vision, great balance, runs with a wide base, a low center of gravity. Very good movement by this guy.
He's beefed himself up this year. He used to play at about 182 or 3. Now Nelson is at 190, and he just looks just stronger. 2nd down and call it 1. A pickup of 9 by Darren Nelson. First carry of the 2nd half. Blasts his way through there, puts his head down. And as so many small running backs can do, and Gale Sayers I include in that group, they can run inside. They'll put the head down and bucket.
Darren Nelson can run anywhere. Inside, outside, upside down, and backwards. That guy can run. I would like to see him back on those punt returns as well because he is so spectacular in the open field.
Angelo King making the stop on that. Remember, the Detroit linebackers inside have been playing close to the line of scrimmage, so when you do get some play-action passes out of there, you might have some success. 1st and 10. Ball is hit by one of the offensive or defensive linemen. They were engaged in the battle around that pocket. Steve Jordan, the intended receiver.
Minnesota is using a lot of movement. Now you're going to watch the quarterback right here shake his foot to initiate the movement. That's his signal out to the wide receiver. See him lift that up right there? That doesn't mean his foot hurts. He's just telling that guy, get moving. Let's change the formation. Now he goes ahead and becomes a quarterback.
And Leo Lewis comes flying by when he sees that foot flip, huh?
Some people use a cadence.
Yeah.
Part of the cadence, and the receiver leaves when he hears the quarterback's command.
2nd down and 10. Straight drop back. And he's being rushed. He's going to screen. And, Nelson is hit at the 30. Awfully late by Vernon Maxwell. The ball was already harmlessly bouncing on the turf. I don't see any flags.
You know, this team is playing very aggressive football, Detroit is. You remember when we were in Detroit earlier, they were accused of not working very hard on the practice field by Buddy Ryan, and it shows that all coaches have different philosophies, and not any one of them being right. But this is Darryl Rogers' approach to coaching a football team, and right now it looks like it's a pretty good approach.
Not bad. Third down and 10 facing Tommy Kramer. And keep in mind that Darren Nelson can run the naked reverse, the Statue of Liberty. Being rushed by Gay. Gay hits him, but Kramer gets it out in the flat to Rice. The crowd thinks it's a first down. Kramer was hit by William Gay hard.
You're going to see an offensive lineman here, a young guy out of the USFL, Gary Zimmerman, having a hard time with Gay coming from the backside. The ball's deep in the shotgun. That's one advantage. You can see now William Gay powering his way around the outside. There he is, giving it to him right in the back. He's fortunate he got it off.
They're going to spot the ball short and bring up the punter again, Greg Coleman. Most of the people thought that was a first down reception.
So did I from here. Of course, that's all the way on the other side of the field.
Coleman's in the kick, and Pete Manley's down there, and we're looking for Joey Browner already. Number 47 has had 2 interference calls first half. He's at the top of the screen. This is a low kick. Manley on the run at the 16-yard line and steps out of bounds. He made Browner miss him, and somehow the two avoided each other. A 42-yard punt, a 7-yard return. It's 7-3 Detroit. Is Darrell Rogers a good coach? Last year he beat Tom Landry, Bill Walsh, Don Shula, and Joe Walton in the Jets. That's a pretty darn good. That's a career's work.
That is tough to do. Now if we can find out a way to beat the teams that aren't winning.
That's exactly what he would say too. Now if I could just beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
First and 10 facing Detroit's offense. Jones has been simply magnificent. James gets hit. A loss of about a yard as Mullaney chased it down. Washington 20, Philadelphia 14.
I'll tell you, that's a heck of a job for your first game as a head coach in that stadium. It's almost impossible to win there, Tom.
And the marching band comes in and runs through your formations when you're warming up. It's a tough place. Chicago in front by 10. Butler just had a 47-yard field goal. Don't forget, the Eagles and Ryan go to see Ditka and the Bears. Wow.
They like each other, don't they?
I bet they won't sit down and have a Friday night meal together like we do with all the coaches. Second down and 12. The draw. Jones to the 27. It looks to me like the Vikings have picked up the tempo on defense. Floyd Peters must have gotten a whip out.
Yeah. Oh, he probably threatened to take him on one-on-one himself. He was a pretty good player in his day. And you know, it's a funny thing. Many times defensive coaches or offensive coaches teach what they like to do when they were a player. Floyd Peters was not the kind of guy that could line up and whip you physically. He would stunt, run upfield, run around blocks, and make tackles, and he coaches that kind of defense.
He was MVP in the Pro Bowl in the mid-70s. He was quite a player and an overachiever. Third down and 7. Hipple. He's being rushed, dumps it off. This is Leonard Thompson. He looks like he has the first down, but we're not going to say anything until they spot the ball. Leonard Thompson came under quickly.
At least the official got out of the way this time. That was the exact same play they had tried earlier. Leonard Thompson, that guy has had quite a career. Needs 48 catches to reach 300 receptions as a Detroit Lion receiver.
And he's been probably coming off his best year. I think he figured 1985 was almost as productive year as he's ever had.
It's the first year he ever led the Lions in receiving.
First and 10. The ball's on the 36. Hipple is 3 of 8 for 35 yards. It's not much. Chadwick's in motion. Here's the play-action pass. The blitz is on. Good catch by Chadwick. A diving catch as Holt just couldn't keep him from getting the ball.
Hipple's pass complete to Chadwick. Holt.
You can follow Chadwick, number 89, at the left corner of your screen, coming in motion across the field. Now he's going to work up off the play-action fake. Now he's going to work it. Now watch him give a good move to the inside on Isaac Holt, number 30, then go for the corner, then go low into the outside for that catch, taking his pads to the ball. A nice job.
And it looked like the safety men fired, so it was sort of one-on-one, almost like old-time football, wasn't it? Chadwick, a very tall, fast receiver for the Lions when he's healthy. Jones inside, puts his head down. The flags are thrown on at midfield. Jones gets to the 45 of Minnesota. Holding. Detroit.
Holding against the line.
Sooner or later, you run the ball enough, someone's going to be called for holding. You know, that's just it's the official's job to call that once in a while.
To spot it.
Yeah.
Well, the rules, when they change them, here he is.
Holding, number 72 on the offense, still first down.
Chris Dietrich, obviously he's going to say he absolutely is not guilty of that.
Well, he held out, now he's holding. There's Mr. Dietrich.
Penalties about even, pretty much like that 7-3 score. 8:10 left in the third period.
First and 20.
Boy, they hate to have their name publicly put out like that and their number, and I don't blame them. First down and 20 facing Detroit. Hipple sidearms it, gets it over to Bland. Bland is tackled at midfield.
Hipple's pass complete to Bland. Browner on the tackle.
Bland right here will be coming in motion, work inside, ricochet off the linebacker, and catch a delay type pattern. Now follow him inside. Defensive back 30 there. Now you can see him ricochet off the linebacker, move to the inside. Studwell, number 55, going to move inside out and make the play. Got a little help from Joey Browner, number 47.
It'll bring up a second down 11. Hipple now in a pro set. Gives it to Jones going outside. Jones cuts back just into Minnesota territory, and the punter's going to have to come on the field.
Goldman is Studwell on the tackle.
Make that a third down coming up.
Gain of 2.
Dolman made the tackle. Jones having his career high rushing day.
His pass best was 116 yards, so here we are in the third quarter, and a lot of carries to go. He's going to be up in that 150. I still think Detroit's going to have to open it up just a little bit to get the big play in the passing game, loosen up that run defense to maintain this lead, because Minnesota's going to be hard to beat with 7 points.
Dietrich is down being tended to. He doesn't look seriously hurt.
He's had a lot of injuries in his career. You know, he has a degenerated hip condition that he lives with and plays with. You know, that's bad enough if you don't make a living in the National Football League, let alone try to play football.
Came back a little late, so he didn't get all of training camp.
That's Kent Falb, the trainer, walking off with him, one of the fine trainers in the National Football League.
7-3 Detroit.
Buddy Ryan is returning to Chicago for a homecoming he'll never forget. It's the Eagles against the Bears. Doubleheader action begins with the NFL Today next Sunday on CBS Sports.
They're waving at the Metrodome. You know what that means? The fans getting into the act a little bit as Dietrich is walking under his own power, but trying to get that. It looks like it's a foot or something that he's just trying to walk off. Scott Barrows, number 61, is in, and it's third down and 9. Hipple to Bland. Close to a first down.
I don't think he made it, Tom.
Browner tackled Bland, but number 80 runs that inside pattern very, very well.
He does. You know, you usually get the heck knocked out of you going back inside like that on those crossing patterns, because everybody is deeper than you are, and the minute you catch the ball, they give you lunch.
Get the heck knocked out of him in there?
Yes,
Gee whiz, Coach.
Yeah. Oh, poop.
It's fourth and about a foot. And Rodgers went out to check to make sure. And this is when coaches develop ulcers. When it's a couple of feet between you and your family and your livelihood. Williams and Jones. Yes. A good run by the fullback usually silences the crowd.
Boy, the Detroit Lions sideline that time, I think more than 11 people were involved in that offensive snap. The whole bench was involved. They were fired up.
Bench in motion,
The bench in motion. You know, and that's good for the head coach in this situation, Darryl Rodgers, to show confidence in his offensive line and his big running back and say, guys, let's go after it. We didn't come here to tie.
Rodgers is breathing again. First and 10. The crowd really getting into it. Back handoff to Gary James. Rookie got about 5 yards. We're told that Hunchy Hornschmeyer, a guy that I played against, late in his career, of course, but Hunchy Hornschmeyer holds the Lion rushing record at 199 yards against the New York Yanks. That's not DiMaggio and them. That's the New York Football Yankees.
Hunchy Horchmeyer.
Horchmeyer played with Bobby Lane and Jack Christensen, the late Jack, all those guys.
All before my time, huh?
Yeah.
You have to remember, you're much older than I am.
Of course. Well preserved, but older. 2nd down and 6. Ball's on the 34. Looks like he's off. Martin was off. They caught him. Jones goes ahead and takes the free pass to the 29. Smart play by the Detroit offense.
Holt and Morrell on the tackle.
Looked like Martin might have gotten caught with the cadence count. What did you think about Hipple when we talked with him yesterday? Did you feel like he was in control?
I did. I think he felt confident. He'd had a big, second half last week against Cincinnati. He said he's much more sure of himself within the offense. The coaches have done a better job.
Number 79 on the defense. It'll still be 2nd down.
Said the coaches have done a better job, of defining the offense. He feels good.
Tom Brookshier and Dick Vermeil at the Metrodome, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a 7-3 ball game. Little less than 4.5 minutes left in this 3rd period. And we look for the 4th quarter to have a few points slung around. And Hipple's the man on 2nd down and 1. Lions got another drive going. Over the top and down to the 21. James Jones.
The guy you got to talk about, Tom, is Steve Mott, the offensive center, number 52. Supposedly the weakest part of the offensive line, at least size-wise. But he is doing a very good job right now, the former Alabama captain of Bear Bryant's football teams, blocking that nose tackle, in this case, Newton, number 96, 300-pounder.
Yeah, I know it. He's doing a good job in there. And as you said, an offensive center has to make sure the snap is right. Dietrich's all right, we're told, just a bruise. He's over there working on it. He'll try to come back if possible, if we know number 72. The 1st and 10 call. It's Jones. Boy, dancing, waiting for the hole to sort of open up, and he gets down to the 17-yard line. Morrell made the tackle there. The Detroit offense much more stable looking, and there's Lomas Brown helping Jones up, and Lomas came on last year to be one of the rookies of the year in the league, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Then after the season, he went back to school. Needs 26 more hours to get his degree, and he really wants to do that.
Is he a Hulk, huh?
Oh, gosh. Talking with him, you have to put 2 chairs for him to sit in. He's so big.
Jones has 140 yards. It's 2nd down 6. To the 15. Studwell and Millard there.
You know that the quarterback, Eric Hipple, is audibling toward what he thinks is the weak side of the running defense. And he's been doing this quite often. When he did it that time, I could hear him audible. They're using a live snap count. Repeat the snap count on the line of scrimmage, and then they go ahead and change the play. But in watching the defense, he's attacking the weakness.
You can see the insert of the clock. 7-3 score Detroit. It's 3rd down and 3. Hipple's changing it. Now he's going to pass it. Thrown into traffic, intended for Bland, incomplete. Carl Lee right there.
That was the 46 defense. He didn't want to run against it. He audibled to a quick slant to the strong side of the formation.
Now Murray comes on. He is the most accurate field goal kicker. He's second only to Nick Lowry.
In the history of kicking so far.
Yeah, I think he's 73 or 4% or some.
74.9% career average, 83.9 last year.
The only one he missed that I remember is that one in San Francisco, and who could ever forget that?
Yeah.
Hipple is the holder.
He was 11 for 12 last year from this distance.
A 33-yard field goal if it's good. Is it? You better believe it is. Murray nailed it. And Detroit now has a touchdown and an extra point lead. It's 10-3. Now look at these eyes. Eddie Murray is not a normal kicker type. This little guy will fight you. And he works for a savings and loan company up in Detroit area, so you know he's tough.
What makes it? How come are you tough because you're working for the savings and loan?
He does the collections or something like that. Buster Rhymes is waiting for Eddie Murray's kickoff. The one area perhaps that the Lions are not happy is with the shorter kickoffs by Eddie Murray, but he's quite a competitor.
This Rhymes returning is really something.
And Rhymes is going to be at full bore. No, he's going to have to wait for it to bounce, and that's a live ball at the 10. Rhymes going for the far sidelines. Reversing his field, gets a block on the outside. Buster Rhymes hit at the 24-yard line by Vernon Maxwell, head-to-head.
That Buster Rhymes is an electrifying kick returner. I'd like to see him as a wide receiver. He's got to be able to do the same thing if he can catch it.
Boy, he got a peel-back block from number 73 for Minnesota. That was really something. The poor guy never saw it coming. That was Elshire. Bailed him out of that.
Defensive lineman getting to block somebody.
A 19-yard return by Buster Rhymes. He is exciting. I watched him the other day just run pass patterns, and he's going to be a very fine outside receiver, too. From Oklahoma, and you know how those Sooners can play. 1st and 10. Ball's on 28. Inside crossbutt. And Nelson's in trouble. A lot of it at the 27-yard line. CBS Sports kicks off the college football coverage next Saturday as the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Huskies of Washington. Ohio State has that great passing combination, Jim Carsatos and wide receiver Chris Carter. They are great, both All-American candidates. This all starts at 2:30 Eastern Time on CBS Sports. Bruce against James, that's going to be an intersectional job.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, both of those teams have chances to win their conferences.
Nelson has 100 yards in total offense, rushing and receiving, and that's not new for him. Kramer going outside to Nelson at the 31, Nelson to the 35. Jimmy Williams, a very quick linebacker, forced him out.
Jimmy Williams.
You know, they're doing a lot of laying the ball off. You have to give credit to the Detroit defense. They're playing a lot of zone. They're not giving him anything deep. And you know better than I do, Tom, because you played with the offensive coordinator of pro football, Bob Snelker. He likes to get the ball downfield.
Yeah, he would like to go all the way over the top if he can.
Yeah, and those 20-yard medium-range throws, and they're not allowing that to happen right now.
3rd down and 3, a pickup of 7 yards on the Nelson reception. Shotgun for Kramer. He's got time. Now he's going for number 88 and overthrows Rhymes at the 35. The big offensive tackle Irwin just said it all. If you could read lips, don't blame him. It's in the heat of battle.
That was the same thing that happened a little while ago in a ball game when it was 3rd down and 3 to 4. They went deep on the same type of pattern and didn't complete it. And you have to punt the football back to a running team. If I were them, and I'm not the brightest guy in the world, I'd try to for that 3-yard gain and keep Detroit off the field with that running game.
Did you see Jerry Burns? He now has the jacket off. He is all he can be and be legal on game day. Greg Coleman is punting and Pete Manley is waiting. And we'll try to figure out where Joey Browner is, number 47. Coleman's punt is a lazy kick. Manley gets away from it. It's gone down. Manley takes it to 22. And he gets a couple of yards. In dangerous fashion. A 44-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Coleman's done his job. Atlanta 21, New Orleans 3.
Marion Campbell's defense, the defensive coordinator at Atlanta, doing a good job on New Orleans.
Rams 13-3 over St. Louis. St. Louis, I thought they'd have more points than that.
Dick Corey's running the offense now for the Rams. He'll help their passing game.
Washington 20, Philadelphia 14. Boy, the Eagles are really playing tough today.
They are. They must be playing better pass defense than they did in the preseason.
San Francisco not getting any more points. 14-7 over Tampa Bay. That's been up that way a long time. Jones goes off the left side for good yardage. Almost to the 35. A lot of action around the league. Chicago 24, Cleveland 21. That was my blue plate special upset.
You know, with Linde and Fonte running the offense at Cleveland, they're capable of putting 21 points on the board easily in the second half.
And they're in Chicago. And they're in Chicago.
Don't give up on it.
We gave you this earlier. Houston 24, Green Bay 3. Of course, that's important to everybody in the Central Division area. Crossbuck handoff. That's Gary James with it. James crawling to the 37. Joey Browner was sort of hanging on. Closing seconds of this third period. Remember, when Detroit is running the football, the clock is running, and Minnesota doesn't have it.
They don't get it back. That's why they've got to make some first downs and do the same thing a little bit, and then get that the big play either on first down. And I know Snoker likes to throw the ball on first down, get the big plays. He likes to throw on the running downs and run on the passing downs.
That's going to be the last play, by the way, of the third quarter. They're going to change ends, get all settled in for a final 15 minutes, and then hit it a hard lick. That's the end of the third quarter. The score, Detroit 10, Minnesota 3. We now pause for a word from your local station. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the all-new trucks from Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi, perfecting the experience. And AC Delco, the smart parts. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. We don't.
You know, I never feel like I'm spending money when I use one of those things.
Yeah,
do you?
Until the end of the month.
I never look at it. My wife handles that.
Detroit 10-3, one touchdown, and Minnesota hasn't had a touchdown and averaged 21 points a game last year. Incredibly good defense by Detroit. Detroit's first down run by Jones to the 40-yard line. Looks like he has made it. Land and Chadwick, the receivers, are coming on now.
Running up behind Keith Dorney, number 70, and Rich Stringer, number 71. Those big guys. There's Steve Mott, number 52. That guy's had some injury problems, but he is healthy right now and doing a good job of blocking that defensive tackle inside that Minnesota defense. Look at the difference, Tom, between last year's rushing and today.
And as you've made very clear, that's very important for winning football teams. Jones has 150 yards rushing. A broken play, and the flags are all over the place.
Who moved first?
I'm just so glad when nobody gets hurt on one of those kind of plays.
Ball start. Number 75 on the offense. Still first down.
Lomas Brown came off a little bit. The pass rush by Mulaney was...
You know, in talking to Lomas, I asked him if he really had any problem guys last year in being a rookie offensive tackle. He said the guy that drove him crazy the most was Ezra Johnson, the fine pass rusher from Green Bay. I thought he would say Manley from the Redskins, but he didn't.
Yeah, he said Manley came over, or tried to overpower him all the time, but Ezra beat him with speed. Boy, he's blocked well today. First and 15 on the 35. Inside move. Jones out over the 40.
Jones, the ball carrier. Newton on the tackle.
Oh, Darrell, he's enjoying this right now, but you can't relax with that kind of score.
I don't know how many rushes the Lions have had total today, but of course Jones is doing most of it. But actually, young Gary James has carried the ball a few times too. We'll get that figure for you. That's important. Second down and 10 on the 40-yard line. Inside handoff to James Jones, and the Lions have now rushed as a team 43 times, and there's still 13 minutes left in this game. There's your factor, 98% of the time.
If your stats hold true, and they don't always hold true, and they will change from year to year, but last year that was almost a guaranteed win, as long as your defense cooperated with it.
And you don't turn the ball over.
See, it correlates, because if you are allowed to run that many times, that means your defense is getting the other opponent's offense off the field quickly.
Third down and 7. Hipple bringing them out. A 10-3 lead. Hipple straight back. Dumps it over. This is Leonard Thompson coming at the Minnesota 45 to the 40-yard line. He's forced out right on the 40.
They really like these crossing patterns. Here's Leonard Thompson, number 39, that did not start today. The true veteran to the right side of your screen. Now watch him come right down underneath. Isaac Holt's playing zone, so he passes him off. He comes underneath Chadwick, 89. Everybody else playing zone. That gives him a good cushion. Gets a nice block right there from Carl Band, number 80. Now, here he comes. Number 44 has to come over. John Harris, who just joined the club this week from Seattle.
Just picked up from Seattle. He was one of the safety men with Easley that made the Hawks so tough. Leonard Thompson, not starting, but being very productive. First and 10 now. Inside handoff. Jones carrying people with him. Gets inside the 35. James Jones, the big guy from Florida, is going all the way today. He's going for the record.
The big offensive center lined up in front of your quarterback does a real nice job of blocking right here. Now watch him come off the ball in front of your quarterback. Look at him come off the ball. Number 52, he's got him standing up, allows him to get room up inside there. Nice job, and that's tough to do after you snap the ball.
You know that little Gary James? Gary James, the rookie halfback, got in the hole and sealed off somebody too.
Yes, he did. Steve Mott's doing a good job. There he is again.
Second down and 4. Jones at 164 yards rushing. And not holding. That is Scott Williams. Check that. Number 38.
You know, Steve Mott blocked that nose tackle, number 96, Tim Newton, again on that play. And you know something?
On the tackle.
You're going to see it right here. You're going to see this big fella right here come out and block that guy. And that's a 300-pounder. He comes off. Now, 96 said he took his wife out for dinner last week. He must have ate too much for dinner to get knocked off the ball that far. That's Tim Newton getting knocked off the ball.
There you're looking at the big Alabama co-captain under Bear Bryant a few years ago. Very steady player. Third down and 1.
Look at the possession time, Tom.
That's that rushing game again. First down. Jones over the top.
Jones, the ball carrier.
Minnesota's going to have to come up with some kind of a red dog linebacker thing or even a safety blitz to get him into that second or that second long situation.
And keeping in mind, though, that the fans are doing a little booing here, that Floyd Peters thought the big thing was to get the pass rush this year, so they get the sacks. Here's a team comes in and says, we're not going to pass it, we're going to rush it, you know?
Don't be surprised if they come with a play-action pass right here, though.
You can see the clock ticking off. The Vikings averaged over 21 points a game last year, and they've got the lone field goal in the first quarter, a 35-yarder. First and 10, handoff. Jones fumbles the ball. Hipple says the Lions recovered it. Jones might have recovered his own fumble.
He's running just a slant play to his right, behind the good side of his offensive line. Here he comes. Now you can see the quarterback, number 17, Eric Hipple, reverse pivot. Now reverse pivot, there he is, and he gets the ball back there deeply. Now you can see Dorney, number 7, he gets his man again, Newton, off the line of scrimmage, and the ball was stripped as he went by. Someone grabbed his right arm and stripped it out of there. There's Millard, number 75, surveying the damage.
Second
Mulaney,
down
number 75, stripped him right there, number 77.
Second down and 8. We're back to live action here. Hipple has too much time and going for it. Good catch in the corner. They're going to call it on the out of bounds. They're going to call it out of bounds on Gary James, and Hipple doesn't like it. The rookie, good pass receiver, thought he had it.
We're going to take a look at this again from the end zone. Now you can see to the right side of your screen, he's working over the outside shoulder to catch the football. Look at him nicely follow it into his hands. He reaches up, 1 foot down, 2nd foot out of bounds. 44 is John Harris chasing him.
Good call.
Good call by the officials.
And that pylon in the corner, boy, he almost caught it enough to get a touchdown on it.
And he is used to, as a college receiver, only having to get 1 foot down. Next week he'll get them both down.
Eric Hipple's numbers. Not impressive unless the Lions win the game. Third down and 8. James for a loss. Millard broke through. Now you're bringing Eddie Murray, number 3, on. There's Millard.
What Peters say about him, he's a throwback to the old type guy. Can you imagine Millard, 75, at Washington State at the same time that other, what's the other guy's name here? We have
Eric Williams.
Eric Williams, those two defensive linemen on the same defensive line in college?
They're both ridge runners. They're both a little bit wacko, you know?
I think they probably drank a little beer up there too, don't you?
You got to be crazy to play defensive line anyway. A 44-yard attempt by Eddie Murray. Eric Hipple is the holder. This looks like it's going to be, wow, a real direct shot. It didn't get too high, but it really had distance. From 44, Eddie Murray rings the bell. It's Detroit 13, Minnesota 3. It's not funny, 13-3 in your home opener, and you've been here as an assistant coach for 18 years. That's tough duty.
It is. And he's sitting there and he says, you know, maybe maybe I'd be better off running my own offense right now. Let someone else take the blame for this.
Detroit, by the way, their run-pass ratio is 48 runs and 14 passes. 48 times they've rushed the football in a little over 3 quarters. That's wacky, boy. Murray kicking off. Buster Rhymes waits for it. And here comes Buster at the 3. Buster to the 31-yard line.
He continually gets that ball upfield nicely, doesn't he?
Coming up next after football today, CBS presents live coverage of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships, the men's finals, where the defending champion Yvonne Lindell takes on fellow Czech Miloslav Brookshier. How did I get through that one? This one's coming up next right after football. The good tennis action live right here on CBS. I love that action, though. They're good athletes, those tennis players.
You bet. I'll tell you something about Kramer. He's great in the 4th quarter with minutes to go when he only needs a little to win. He's still in this ballgame.
He needs 10 points. First down pass. Sacked at the 26-yard line by Angelo King. The linebacker shot the gap.
Yeah, again, it was one of those pump-and-go situations. He pumped it to his right, and then he wanted to throw back, and here comes Angelo King, number 92. Angelo King is to the right of your screen. You're going to see him come. You're going to notice the quarterback pump and then try to throw, and by that time, he's run out of time. Now watch King. He's coming right now. He beats the running back inside, beat Darren Nelson, number 20. The ball was not gone, and Angelo gets his sack.
Kramer is 12 of 22 for 127 yards and the 1 touchdown, and he's been sacked twice. Second down, 14 pass. He's open. This is Leo Lewis, overthrown at the 30. Leo Lewis had a couple of steps. The safety man was trying to get over, but Kramer just had to force that throw a little too much.
Here he is at 5'8", trying to go deep. He has good speed. He was a high school wide receiver, quarterback. Down to the bottom of your screen. Now he's going to go right outside Bobby Watkins, inside him rather. Goes right by him. He's getting help from his safety, coming over there nicely. Look at his reaction here. Oh my gosh, I'm mad.
Was that regular speed or was that fast forward?
No, that was regular speed.
Like Keystone Cops, he is quick.
Watkins, number 27, let him go up inside cleanly.
Third down and 14. 9:76. Audible. Shotgun. William Gay may have been offsides. This is to the little man, that's Nelson. Darren's knocked down at the 35. A real good tackle by Galloway.
Wayne Galloway and the tackle, there's a flag on the play.
9:76. Isn't that what he yelled?
And then William Gay jumped offsides.
Lions offside.
Pleading his case.
Offsides, number 79 on the defense, still 3rd down.
On deaf ears.
Look at how he has his fingers all taped up there. That's so he can grab a hold of that face mask or the jersey much quicker that way and not tear his fingers apart.
And he's across from that Zimmerman, that 285-pounder from the USFL that the Vikings got from the New York Giants. And he is some blocker. Big number 65 at left tackle.
Yeah, he is. In fact, Coach Michaels said if he were going to make a training film, he'd make it with, of all shots with that left tackle was Zimmerman. Yeah.
Third down and 9. Shotgun, almost off again, the Detroit rush was. Kramer adjusting, throws a strike at the 47. Leo Lewis.
Now you're going to see Leo Lewis in the slot. That's what you'd call a short slot man, number 87, right to the left of your screen. He's going to work here against the zone defense, working inside out there. Now work up. Now watch him come back to the inside of that zone. No one on him. They're just playing him loose, too loose. Then John Bosick, number 42, comes over and puts him down.
And Tommy Kramer really adjusted in that pocket and threw a sidearm strike. First and 10. Sprint out left by Kramer, going deep. Trying for Leo Lewis, overthrows him at the 5-yard line and no flags. McNorton was there.
I think Bruce McNorton got poked in the eye. Let's see if we can find out what Lewis is complaining about on Bruce McNorton. Here they are, stride for stride, going down the sideline. Remember, he cannot touch him now if they both look back for the ball, and there is inadvertent contact. It is not pass interference anymore. Let's see if we can see. I really don't see what he's complaining about there, do you?
The official was right there, too. The ball, by the way, was in the air for 50 yards.
Kramer really pushes it out there. It looks like it's a heck of an effort, but he gets it there.
Only 2 first downs in the second half for the Vikings. Kramer getting rushed. Now he finds the open man. At the 44-yard line is Alfred Anderson. I don't know how Kramer got the ball in there.
I'll tell you, little Darren Nelson, or the running back on the left side, did a real nice job of picking up. Now watch the running back right here pick up the linebacker coming from the outside. You young running backs watching this game that play high school football, this is how it's got to be done. You got to fight that guy all the way. There he did a nice job. He kept on him. Quarterback does a heck of a job of staying in there. Hits Alfred Anderson.
Jerry Burns always did like Tommy Kramer as a quarterback, but he thought he needed a supporting cast. And right now, the offensive line is giving him just barely enough time.
Just barely. But I tell you, he's best in these kind of situations. Just intense. A little bit of a street fighter type guy.
But as you said, Dick, he can come back like no other quarterback in that fourth quarter. It's 13-3. Wherever Bob Schnelker's been, they throw the football almost beyond belief.
And throw it well. Wherever he's been the offensive coordinator, he's been in Detroit, Green Bay, here, Kansas City. His offensive teams are always in the top 5 in the league.
He likes to go upfield with it. He doesn't like checkoffs. 3rd and 1, big play if Minnesota's going to get back in this one right here. Short yardage. I don't know. I don't think so. Anderson went up and over, but did not keep his feet down and didn't jump either.
In this situation, though, Tom, score as it is, time as it is, they're thinking 2 downs for the first down anyway. I'm even a little surprised they didn't come with a play-action pass. Schnelker will do that to you.
And Jerry Burns, of course, is the one that we saw try to get a win out in Los Angeles from the 1-yard line with Darren Nelson. He said, I'd still do it again.
On the last play of the game, I'll do it again.
He's a gambler.
You bet.
Roll him out there.
I don't know if a guy like Jerry Burns or any coach really takes over for Bud Grant. He just does the job that Bud Grant was doing, but I don't think anyone will ever replace a guy like Bud Grant. You?
No, I agree with you. And Bud is still here in spirit. You know what I mean? It's not like he's gone somewhere else. He comes around the office and
it isn't deer season yet, is it? He wouldn't be here if it was deer season.
Jerry Burns now has a pulse. 214 yards rushing for Detroit. 41 for Minnesota, and as we've said several times, the rushing yards for Detroit means that Minnesota's clock is short because that clock continues to roll when you're rushing that football. Just under 6 minutes now, and a 13-3 deficit. That's what's facing Kramer. Knocked down by number 92, Angelo King. The linebacker firing in there, spiked it. Crowd doesn't like it. In fact, they're a little bit angry right now.
Tom, I'm not so sure that Eric Williams, number 76, didn't get that. Number 76, I think you'll see 76 right on the nose right here. Let's see if he gets it. It looked like it to me, Tom. Here he goes. He's slanting to his right. He gets up there. He gets a little penetration. Now watch him get his, I think, his left hand up right here. No, it's his right hand. It was him who tipped the ball. Good job. Yeah.
It's academic.
It's academic.
Somebody got it.
Don't make no difference.
Kramer, 14 of 27, 152 yards. Uh-oh, fumble. Kramer tries to get it, and I believe Detroit's come up with it.
There's Coach Burns. You can see that he's upset about that. So many times you take the center quarterback exchange for granted in this business. And believe me, you cannot take that for granted on any level of football. Now let's see if we can see. It's hard to from this angle, but there's an exchange problem between the center and the quarterback on this one. There he snaps it up there. He dropped the ball for some reason. Now Kramer's scrambling like mad to get it in there. Oh, Vernon Maxwell misses it. There it's still bouncing around. Then he ends up with it, hooking it with his right hand.
I think Swilly was the offensive center, and of course he's a veteran. They've snapped it 1,000 times between them before. James Jones back to work after the turnover. And how much is a fumble worth? You figure a fumble's worth what, about 3 points if you turn it over?
Last year, the computer spit it out to mean that every fumble you got more than your opponent was worth 2.5 points.
Ooh, and the Lions have not turned it over yet on the fumble route today.
No, they've thrown the interception. But it's balanced out. Both teams threw them. 2nd down and 7. The clock is running. The insert's right there for you to see. Jones is at 172 yards on 35 carries. That's Bland doing the reverse motion on 2nd down and 7. Not much. Tom, that ties the Lions record for the number of carries. Billy Sims with James Jones.
He's not through yet. There's still enough time. He's going to have to carry it. He's heading for the rushing record of yardage, which would be 200. He might end up with both records in one afternoon. The opening day of the season. That's a good way to start out the year.
That's 36 carries for him.
Lions lead by 10, 13-3. It's 3rd down and 5. Hipple has time to throw it, finds Bland at the 40. The offensive line doing a good job of giving Eric Hipple enough time.
You're going to see here that the offensive line does a good job of keeping the rush away from him. Plus, you're going to see 2 receivers coming from the left side. It's a crossing pattern, one following the other. Stunt pick up nicely. Now there goes one receiver. Here comes the other behind him, a trail type pattern. Very well done. It's the 2nd time in the ball game they've used that for the 1st down. Carl Bland makes the reception.
Chadwick goes to the top along with Bland. They will be to the top of your screen when we go back live. They're going to be there. There it is. Hipple back now on 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Gary James. The rookie gets to the 36-yard line.
Harris on the tackle.
Lions continue to sort of dominate with that rushing game. A big surprise. And we saw them early in the year against the Eagles in preseason game number 1, and they didn't. Of course, Jones did not play.
No, and they, Dave Lewis did not play the tight end. All the key guys. Eric Williams played some nose, but they have come a long ways since that first preseason game.
2nd down and 6. There's Gary James getting outside. He's got speed. The speed gets him to about the 35 before he's forced out. Let's see if that stops the clock, and it does. Martin got out there, the linebacker.
Forced out by Martin.
And looks like somebody is slow getting up. A couple of players. One Lion, one Viking. Martin, number 57, the man making the tackle. And let's see if that is that Gary James, number 32 out there. Young running back. He went right into the Detroit sidelines.
Let's take another look at it, Tom. And it's a wide play to the right, 32 in the middle of your screen, working off, trying to get off the tight end block. There's Chris Martin, number 57, chasing him out. He got twisted around there, and it looks like he hit his head, the back of his head, real hard on the AstroTurf. And the AstroTurf in this stadium is pretty darn hard, as we noticed walking around here the other day.
And you get slammed down at that speed like he did.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Let's look at some scores now. Martin's up. I'm sure the young back will be in just a moment. Atlanta laying it on New Orleans. Mora's debut. Pretty tough, 28-3. Rams 16-3 over St. Louis in the 4th quarter. Those methodical Rams. Now beginning to get the thing shifted into turbo, 34-14. The Redskins, I think, one of the best teams in football.
I always figure the Redskins to do well because I have so much confidence in their coaching staff. And like you and I do on Fridays, we watch other people work, and they do a great job of coaching.
And they picked up some great people from the other league. Doug Williams, and Kelvin Bryant, and other people. San Francisco, 24, Tampa Bay 7. A little bit of talent on that team. Cleveland, 10 behind Chicago, but not out of it yet. Green Bay out of it.
Houston's for real, huh? 5-0, here they are now.
5-0 with Glanville wearing black on the sidelines. One of the new coaches having a good start. 3rd down and 5. Ball is right on the 35. Straight drop. The blitz is on, and Hipple goes down. Hipple sacked by Millard and Joey Browner.
Hipple sacked on the play by Browner and Doug Martin.
Browner, number 47, the strong safety, came from the left side of the formation here. I think this is him right here. There he goes, coming after it. He gets a nice rushing lane, and as you can see, the guy goes to block another person. He couldn't handle everybody. Somebody beat him there. I'm not sure if it was Millard, but it was another 70 number beat him there.
That was Floyd Peters gambling with everything. That's the 2nd sack for the Vikings. Of course, Hipple hasn't faded to throw very many times. Black is punting. He'll be standing and kicking from about his own 45.
You know, Minnesota.
Leo Lewis is going to take it at the Minnesota 10.
Minnesota has been better than anybody at blocking kicks over the years.
A high kick, one of those poochers they call them. Leo Lewis fair catches it at the 12-yard line. And the Vikings have a long way to go to get 10 points. Not 7, but 10.
And they have to do it in a hurry.
A 28-yard punt, but a very effective kick because of the net result. As Tommy Kramer takes the controls, but the quarterback knows that that comes with the territory, that's for sure. 63,000 plus showed up. A few people have gone home to watch elk run through their front yard. 1st down and 10. The ball is on the 12. From the shotgun, Kramer. Overthrowing as Leo Lewis pulled up on the pattern, and the Lions had to prevent in against Burns' offense.
Jerry Burns is a head coach. You know, tonight, about the middle of the night, he's going to wake up like I did many times, thinking it's a nightmare. Did we lose? No, it's just a dream. I didn't lose this football game. And then he'll stay awake the rest of the night. Now, when I was an offensive coordinator, I would never do that because it was the other guys that don't make all those mistakes. The head coach screwed it all up.
Well, when Joe Schmidt was the head of Detroit, he used to call his coaches up in the middle of the night and try to lay some of it off on the other guys too, you know. Tough job, but a fun job. This is Rice with the checkoff, and Rice gets a 1st down out to the 27-yard line. McNorton finally pulling down. 2 minutes to get 10 points, and that would just tie it. 13-3 Detroit.
Well, a reminder that next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time, the NFL Today, and then a doubleheader on CBS. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. Buddy Ryan against Mike Ditka. The Bears under fire by the Cleveland Browns, and the Eagles being beaten by the Washington Redskins today. Then in the second game, most of you will see the San Francisco 49ers against the Los Angeles Rams. Those teams should be unbeaten. They are coasting toward wins this afternoon. Last 2 minutes back in Minnesota now, 13-3, and let's send you back to Tom Brookshier and Dick Vermeil.
Okay, Brent, thank you very much for the update. Boy, what a first day we're having. There's the head coach. Happiness reigns. A short,
I tell you,
short plane flight back, boy.
And like he told us last night, he says, all we have to do to win on the road is play better. It's that simple, Dick. He says there's no complicated formula to that. We just have to play better football.
All right, will he sleep well tonight? And then what you said as a head coach, your eyes can pop open.
He'll sleep well tonight. He might have a horn or two, you know.
A what?
A drink or two.
Oh,
relax
okay.
a little bit. He deserves it after, all this.
Do whatever you have to do.
That's right.
1st and 10, the shotgun now. Kramer only has 2 minutes. The draw play out of the shotgun to Nelson gets to the 40-yard line, is straightened up and fool around with all the way to the 34, and tempers flare a little bit. The clock is running now. Minnesota only has 2 timeouts left.
Tom, for Minnesota to be a good offense, they've got to give the ball to that guy more. That's all there is to it.
There's the shuttle pass in there to Rice. Rice has the shuttle to the 42-yard line. Flags are down. Flags are down as something was wrong with the offensive set.
Illegal man downfield. See, that's a forward pass, Tom.
I mean, somebody was up on the line of scrimmage, huh, that should have been off?
Well, it's downfield when they lateral it. I think that's how they call it. Let's see.
Well, you can have people downfield for a lateral.
Yeah, forward pass.
Illegally down the field, number 67 on the offense, still 1st down.
See that
Swilly, the offensive center, must have come off, and he doesn't think he did, obviously.
a shuffle pass is a forward pass. That's why if it's fumbled or dropped, it's an incomplete pass.
Well, I mean, I didn't see the offensive center come off. I could barely find out where they ended up. 1:30 on the clock. Now it brings up first down and 20. Minnesota with a long way to go and 10 points to pick up. Kramer in a shotgun. Tommy going deep for Buster Rhymes. It is off of Buster's hands, incomplete as McNorton won the battle.
Kramer over the years has had great success in these situations, but it looks like he's not going to have the success today with 1:23 to go and 10 points behind. You know, if you'd have told me, Tom, that Detroit would keep Minnesota to 3 points or hold them there and not allow them to score after looking at Minnesota films in preparation for this ball game, I'd have said, no way. You know, it's going to be a 27-28 ball game, somewhere around there.
And Tommy Kramer is healthy. Is he throwing the long ball well, do you think, or is he forcing it?
He's been overthrown today.
Second down and 20 to go on the 30-yard line. A three-man rush. Kramer now going across the middle, and oh, what a catch by number 84. That's Hassan Jones at the 46-yard line. Walked up that invisible ladder for a catch. Kramer calling out now. A little over a minute left. The Lions are back. 2 timeouts left for Minnesota. Kramer moving. Complete. Rice dragging somebody to the 37-yard line. And the
Timeout number 2 for Minnesota.
second timeout burned as Kramer gets them moving. Are the Vikings too late? 13-3 Detroit.
They've run out of time, Tom.
Detroit up by 10 points, and you're looking at Tommy Kramer on second down and 2, 1 timeout left. What do you call to get 10 points? You get a touchdown quick and then try to get it down there for a field goal, huh?
Try to get the onside kick right after that.
Jerry Burns.
He's twisting a program or the game plan. In fact, he's probably going to burn the game plan if that's what it was in his hand.
Maybe over at one of his assistants' houses. Second down and 1 from the shotgun. A lot of time. Out in the flat. Nelson has the first down, and the clock stopped at the 33.5-yard line. Bostic was there late.
I hate to keep dwelling on the same thing, Tom, but if Minnesota's going to be a good offensive team, they've got to get the ball in Darren Nelson's hand, running at least 18 to 20 times and receiving 8 to 10 times.
Well, it just seemed like they couldn't get the ball away from Detroit in order to do that, because I think Nelson handled the ball quite a bit.
In the first quarter, they gave it to him.
Yeah.
Hey, they moved the ball nicely with him giving the ball, then they got away from it.
Nelson has caught 6 passes for 74 yards. Kramer going for the outside, out jumping everybody, but not holding on as Hassan Jones. He has shown a lot of good ability, but that time he didn't come up with a catch. That's 45 seconds left.
That's what you call trying to force one in there, too. That guy was covered deep and underneath with the zones, and it's tough to get that one in there.
Nelson has handled the ball 16 times. He has 74 yards on 6 catches and 50 yards on 10 rushes.
That's 5 yards a carry. 5 yards a carry. That ain't too bad. Just give it to him.
And the Lions have just crunched along with James Jones having an absolutely incredible afternoon. Second down and 10. 45 seconds. Kramer has time, gets it to Leo Lewis. Lewis is going to be stopped at the 25. Not enough for a first. Angelo King hanging on. Kramer's calling it out. 27, 26. Hurry up. Inside handoff. Nelson. They're going to have to burn their timeout.
They have to
the last one. Demetrius Johnson makes the tackle, and Kramer.
Number 3 for Minnesota.
That's a strange call.
Now a check with
draw play. That is a strange call.
Bob Schnelker, company on the sidelines of Jerry Burns. The head coach gets to listen in on these, does he?
Yes, he does. He is now chairman of the board. It used to be him calling all the plays. Now Schnelker is turning to him and saying, Coach, what would you like done here?
Schnelker now listening as Jerry Burns discusses what he thinks. Bob Schnelker
is the man right in the middle with the glasses. Jerry Burns on the left. Dick Rabin, the receivers coach, right there with a hat on and the headsets on. These guys do a good job of coaching football. This Minnesota football team is going to be a good one.
You know, each of these coaches has said to us, Darryl Rogers and Burns, that they want to get off a good start. They want to be 5-3 or somewhere about halfway, and then, you know, try to work. And of course, Darryl Rogers is getting that good start.
There's Wayne Fonts. Is he a piece of work? He's one of the original defensive coordinators, personality-wise, in the league. He smokes that cigar and bats those eyes. And I've known him for a long time, and he does an excellent job coaching defense.
And defensive players sort of need some kind of a different character to coach them anyway, don't they? Don't forget, immediately following this ball game, and it's been a good one and a hard-hitting one, everybody at the NFL today, Brent and Irv and wherever else there, will bring you up to date with all the scores and some highlights and keep you all filled in. Kramer back with a lot of time. Dumps it off. It's the screen to the right side. This is Rice. Rice is inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. And we got a fight going back here as Kramer and number 77. Now the Vikings are in on it. Kramer came up swinging when he was knocked down by number 77, Keith Ferguson.
You know, if the Vikings were that intense on every snap defensively, they may not find themselves behind right now, Tom.
Wayne Fonts is out there talking to Ferguson and company. The coaches came out. Rogers is out there. Schnelker was out there. I didn't see Jerry Burns.
He isn't big enough. He can stay on the sideline.
He's been around this league too long. Yeah. He's on the right there. He knows. The Viking offensive lineman came to the rescue of their quarterback. And understand that is a code. And then, of course, both benches unload to protect their roommates, etc., etc., etc.
Boy, well, that was just a wave of
unnecessary roughness. Number 77 on the defense. Half a distance to the goal. First down.
This will move the ball to the, I think, 11. They'll make that the 8-yard line. We'll wait for the group to do it. There's Ferguson leaving, number 77.
Well,
he probably came through, and at the last minute,
the quarterback was down and he was on him, so evidently maybe he hit him just a little. He didn't hit him late, though. Maybe he put the helmet down or something. We didn't get to see that. I was looking downfield at what was going on, Tom, but it was way back there out of the shot. But I tell you this.
Kramer came up swinging.
And so did about 5 purple jerseys go after him.
All right, 11 seconds left, 13-3. That touchdown scored by Detroit, and the Vikings are just trying to get off that Snyder. All they've got is the one field goal in the first period. No timeouts left. The throw by Kramer, and he was engulfed that time as the blitz came pretty hard. Eric Williams came up the middle. Demetrius Johnson
came off the corner. He wasn't going to let him come out there on a naked bootleg.
I don't know how Kramer got the ball out of that mass of humanity that time. 7 seconds left. No timeouts for Minnesota.
See, he didn't want to take the sack. He just wanted to get rid of the ball, so save the 7 seconds.
Second and goal from, call it the 5 or 6 yard line on the 6. Shotgun. Are they blitzing? Here come the Lions. Quick out. Touchdown. It's a call for Gustafson. Jim Gustafson, a local boy from St. Paul, St. Thomas of St. Paul, caught the first touchdown catch for head coach Jerry Burns.
Maybe a case of too little, too late. Here he is, number 80, Jim Gustafson's going to work a quick out right down the sideline on Bobby Watkins right there, who was looking into the quarterback for some reason, Tom. And you know, as an old cornerback, man-to-man, you might as well watch that receiver.
Gustafson looks like Tilly of St. Louis, or one of those possession-type receivers.
They really like him here.
Chuck Nelson now will try the extra point that would bring this margin down to 3, but only 3 seconds left. Coleman is holding. Nelson's kick.
kicks, blocking kicks, recovering onside kicks. And Tom Batta, who coaches the Minnesota Vikings special teams, he was meeting earlier on the sideline. Look at Jerry's trying to find a way to get in the
He
huddle.
can't get in there. They've got him closed off.
Yeah.
Batta's talking to the special teamers. Now he says, this is the overview they talked about.
Yeah. He's got to learn to be chairman of the board.
So you're thinking about dropping a ball down in there around the 25-yard line, a little half wedge?
No. You can't. I don't think you can do that. I mean, he's got to lay that 10 yards out there, get it there, and go after it, scramble it. They're out of time. It might be out of time anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Darryl Rogers looks like Tommy's going to have a win on the road. He only had one last year, and that was in the opener against Atlanta. Nice person, Darryl Rogers. Known him a long time.
He's out on the field. Is that legal?
No. In that situation, it's legal. They'll probably overload. They're going to, Tom, put all the coverage people on one side and just go ahead and...
Detroit 13, Minnesota 10, the fourth quarter. 3 seconds on the clock. A young kicker to kick off.
Detroit has all skilled people up there that have good hands, rather than the linemen, or all the infielders, good way to put it, that are used to handling the ball rather than blocking type people. Here's Chuck Nelson. He's got a lot riding on this kick right here.
Now Nelson is a golfing type. Let's see if he looks one way and kicks it the other to see if he can get it onto this right side.
He's got to go 10.
That'll end it right there if there's no turnover. That's Herman Hunter. Hunter gets to the 40. The clock registers all zeros. The winners breathe again a little bit, a sigh of relief. Boy, Darryl Rogers got James Jones going for 36 carries, 174 yards, 1 touchdown.
You know what the thinking was there, Tom, is to get the kick a little bit deeper. If we do get it, we're already in position for the field goal. That must have been the thinking.
A good try on the last play, and it really was only made possible when Jerry Burns, his quarterback, got into a fight with Big Ferguson, and they moved it half the distance and got it deep inside.
You know what's going to be really different for Jerry now is when he goes in the locker room, talks to the squad. When he leaves the locker room, he'll go in front of about 50 microphones, and each one of those guys will be jamming it right up his throat, getting him to make some intelligent statement with a real dumb question, you know.
And trying to remember everything he said before the ball game, too, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
But boy, there's a lot of intensity throughout the National Football League, and I don't know if I've ever felt it like this preseason, getting around to San Diego and the different cities, Philadelphia. Of course, Chicago and New York, there's a lot of sparkle and electricity running through everybody this year. It's going to be fun.
Football wasn't spread over 12 months, with the other league not playing, and I think rejuvenated. Plus, those players coming, there was about 160 USFL players coming to the NFL. That generates some interest and enthusiasm and adds to the quality of the league. And I think we're going to see better football, not only by the starters, but by the backup people and the special teams because of the addition.
Okay, we'd like to thank Bill Friel and Craig Gleaver for helping us up here today. The final score, Detroit Lions 13, Minnesota Vikings 10. Don't forget, Lindahl against Brookshier. That's from the U.S. Open Tennis right here on CBS Live. And this is Tom Brookshier for Dick Vermeil saying don't forget the NFL today with all the highlights from today's action around the league with Brent and Irv back there. This is Tom Brookshier saying so long from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The final score 13-10. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Well, welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger along with Irv Cross and Will McDonough. A lot of things cracking around the National Football League, but first let me remind you that in just a few minutes we're going to be sending you out to the U.S. Open, to the National Tennis Center, and you will see the men's final out there. Miloslav Machir of Czechoslovakia against Ivan Lendl. 13-10 was the final score with the Lions over the Vikings. And Will McDonough, what about the Lions going into Minnesota and winning on opening day?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a stunner for me because you look at the Lions. They lost Doug English, who was probably the best defensive lineman from a year ago. Billy Sims, he's retired. To go into Minnesota and win, that's a heck of an achievement.
Irv? Well, it's a big. I normally would say an opening win or loss didn't make much difference to most ball clubs, but to Detroit, it was a significant win because they had difficulty winning on the road last year. Keep in mind, they beat the playoff teams last year: Dallas, San Francisco, Miami, and the Jets. They're simply continuing their upswing.
All right, well, we've got a lot of things we're going to keep you up to date on. The Rams and the Cardinals, they're still in the wood, but let's take you through the scoreboard. Now, the story here, the Bears are winning by 10 points. It's 34-24. Jim McMahon, the Bear quarterback, has just been forced out of that game because of a bruised shoulder. And most folks believe that the Bears certainly would not be the same team if they lose their starting quarterback. We do not know how serious that injury is. Next week, of course, McMahon and the Bears are due in Soldier Field against Buddy Ryan and the Philadelphia Eagles. Also on the board this afternoon, the Houston Oilers 31, the Green Bay Packers 3. And the Atlanta Falcons with an impressive performance this afternoon, 31-10 over the New Orleans Saints. And that game is in the closing moments, so the Falcons and Dan Henning will come up with an important win there. And also this afternoon, the Rams over the Cardinals 16-10. They are in the fourth quarter. Eric Dickerson closing in on 200 yards and 40 carries. He now has rushed for 193 yards at the moment, so we'll keep you updated on that story. San Francisco and Tampa Bay, the 49ers play the Rams in our doubleheader game on CBS next Sunday, and the 49ers have climbed all over the hapless Buccaneers. 31-7 was the final score there. Washington and Philadelphia, 34-14, the Redskins with an impressive win. We're going to be going live to St. Louis, and we'll do that in a moment.